What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of DC Action Hour. Yay! What's up, everybody? My name... Oh, there is... Wow, dancing did actually happen. We were joking about that before the show started. My name is Jeff from Super Geeked Up. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is DC Action Hour. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Marx Pyle.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Our special guest co-host, you've seen him on the show before, is Jon-Paul Estes. Hello, sir.
Howdy.
Welcome back. And our special guest, we're very excited. She plays Lily Stein on Legends of Tomorrow. It's Christina Brucato. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right, so we already have some people in the live chat. I see Carrie Johnson here. Says, good evening, folks. So much to talk about. That's true. We're going to talk to Christina first, but we are going to do a huge Crisis on Earth X discussion after that. So stick around for that, folks. Raisa in the chat says, yes, with Christina B here, it's very timely. That's true. She was just on the Crisis episode. Yeah. And Stormy Woods in the chat says, I adored all the DC TV ladies kicking butt and stopping Nazis. Nice. Listeners May just says, hey. Okay, well, thank you, everybody, for watching. A smiley face he puts in as well. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. Keep chatting away there. If you have questions, comments for Christina, of course, you can put them in. Before we... Oh, and then a name I'm going to have a very hard time pronouncing. Prathmes. Prathmes just says, hey. Hello. Hello, sir. Thank you for watching. Okay, so before we get to ask Christina more questions, we like to start with our super tweet question. This is just a fun question we send out. We like to hear your guys' answers as well. Now, this week, actually, usually Marx and I come up with these goofy things, but this week, actually, I started with if you don't know, folks, I tutor high school kids in my day job. So one of my students is a big fan of superheroes, so we get to talking about that. When we should be doing SAT stuff or ACT stuff. But he had, this is a question he likes to ask his friends, and I was like, oh wow, we've never done that on our show, and I think it's actually good because we have a lot of superheroes on the Crisis crossover. So this is from Lucas Diaz. Lucas, if you're watching, thank you very much for the question. He says, if you could create a superhero and give him or her 3 powers from 3 pre-existing superheroes, which 3 would you use? And it could be any superhero from any property, Marvel, DC, whatever, Image. Okay. Let me share Lucas's answer himself, because he said he would do the Hulk for obviously strength, Flash for super speed, and Iron Man for all the technology in the suit. And he think he'd be unstoppable, and I think that's probably true. That it would be like a ridiculously amazing hero, the Hulk, Flash, and Iron Man. All right, so we want to hear your guys' answers in the chat. But yes, Christina, she put a lot of actually thought into this. She was deciding which ones. Christina, what 3 did you decide on?
Okay, so Aquaman.
Yes.
Because I love animals, and Aquaman protects animals and marine life.
Yeah.
I also chose Vixen because she takes on the powers of of animals, and also Wonder Woman because she's a powerful woman who flies.
Yeah, hell yeah, she is. All right, those are awesome choices. Good animal theme too. Yes, very nice.
Thank you very much.
In the chat, Carrie Johnson says, "For the professor, Steins for life." All right, very good. Okay, so Jon-Paul, who are your choices?
Oh, even though it's a DC show, I mixed it up among the different companies a little bit. So, cool. Brainiac 5 for the super intelligence. That one was an easy one. The healing factor of Wolverine, because I want to not be hurt, but he can still be hurt and feels it. So I want to be nigh invulnerable like the Tick. So
the Tick, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's my 3.
Let's get an eclectic selection. Marx?
I stuck mostly DC, and I think I like Martian Manhunter. I always think he's kind of underrated.
Because you want the telepathy? Is that what you want? Or changing forms?
Or shape-shifting would be pretty awesome, yeah. You can do a lot with that, right? So, and then Flash, because that's super speed. I can get anything done I need to get done really fast. And then Batman, because his power is being rich, and that's always nice.
Which is, by the way, a great line from the Justice League movie, which we'll talk. We're going to talk Justice League movie later on because I finally got to see it. All right, great choices. Kerry Johnson, who's in the live chat, but earlier on Facebook, he shared his answers. He said Jean Grey's telekinesis, her mental power can exceed Professor Xavier's. Number 2, Superman Prime's flight speed. He's able to travel light years in seconds and time travel. Ooh, all right, that's pretty cool. And then from the X-Men, Rogue's power absorption. That way, if there is another power I still want, I can experience it for a period of time. That's very true. I almost chose Rogue, actually. There's that whole problem. You can't get close to anybody like romantically without like almost killing them.
Yeah.
All right. So my choices are actually like Christina. I'm going Wonder Woman because I think Wonder Woman is amazing.
Yeah.
She's pretty much like this, just about the strongest hero out there, and she just rocks. She's like the best. She's got the lasso, she's got the bracelet, she's got everything. It's got an invisible jet, which we haven't seen yet in the movies, but I'm going with Spider-Man. Spider-Man was growing up my favorite hero. I just really want Spidey sense. I want to know when like danger's lurking around me, so nobody can sneak up on me. And he's got obviously amazing agility. Maybe I could also, do some of his funny quips that'll come with it too. And then I'm going to go from the Flash TV series. Actually, I don't even know if this character is in the comics. John-Paul, you might know. But I'm going to go Gypsy because she has the power to travel between different, parallel worlds, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah.
Is she from the comics?
Justice League Detroit. The team that people remember fondly now but made fun of at the time.
I had no idea this is Justice League Detroit. Jeez.
Yes. Her powers are very different in the comic books.
Yeah.
So it was a team just based in Detroit?
It was Martian Manhunter, Cisco, Vibe, Gypsy, Vixen, couple more. I'm blanking on who else.
Wow, all right. Who knew? Detroit gets its own league.
You knew.
So Reyes in the chat says, I'll go with Christina's picks, plus the 80s character Jonathan Chase, Manimal transforms into animals.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
About
Forgot
that.
about Manimal.
That's another good animal theme there. All right, nice.
Like it.
All right. Cool. All right, very good. Excellent choices, everybody. Good. Thank you in the chat and on Facebook. All right. Hey, let's talk to Christina more. Marx, you want to kick us off?
Sure.
Hey.
So, obviously, you've been in a number of productions before Legends, most notably, Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
I think you were in an episode of something that's a fave of mine. I think Jeff likes it too. I can't remember.
I love the show.
Forever?
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, yeah. Forever.
It was great.
Oh, yeah. Forever was a great show.
You also produced a few short films a few years back, even writing one called The Gift.
I did, yeah.
So I have a two-part question. So how did you first get into acting? And is producing or writing something else you enjoy and would like to do in future?
Okay, so I first got into acting when I was 13. I'm from New York, so I was listening to Z100 in the car with my mom. I'm sorry, you might hear my child screaming in the background. I was listening to Z100 and I heard an open call for Welcome to the Dollhouse. And I begged my mom and she took me into the city and I auditioned for that. And I got the part. I got the part of Cookie and Welcome to the Dollhouse. So that was like my entrance into it. It took a while for me to really get into it. Like I, finished middle school and high school after that and then got into it when I was about 20. But yeah, that was my entrance into acting. Part two of that question is producing and writing. Mm-hmm. Yes, I love producing and writing. I love working with my friends. I love writing and just making my own stuff because, this business is hard and it's nice to be able to produce your own stuff and not just rely on what comes your way,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Marx and I, we were independent filmmakers too, so we hear you for sure.
Oh, okay. So you understand.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Awesome. So last week we had Amy Gummick on, who plays Cupid in Arrow, and she was talking about how she actually auditioned for those DC shows like a bunch before she actually landed a role on it. So how did you wind up getting Lily Stein? Had you auditioned for any other roles like for those shows before that, or?
No, I had never auditioned for any of the shows before, and it was a self-tape because I'm in New York, and I guess I don't even know if they're casting it here. I don't know if it's just self-tapes because it shoots in Vancouver, or if they're, just casting out of LA, but it was a self-tape. My friend came over at 9:30 in the morning one day because I had a bunch of auditions that day, so she came over early and we made a tape, and I found out like a week or two later that I got the part. And then I found out that I was playing Victor Garber's daughter, and it was just very exciting.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, I think you already alluded a little bit to this before we got on air, but did you know much about the superhero genre before playing this part?
I know about the superhero genre, not so much, actually. Who am I kidding? I mean, I watch like the big blockbusters that come out, but like, no, I'm not like super well read on the superhero genre, but I like it.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, it's all over the place now. Obviously, it's like the biggest.
Yeah, no, it's all over the place. It's great to be part of. I mean, it's fun.
So you mentioned Victor Garber.
Yeah.
I'm actually a big fan of his. Actually,
Me
many
too.
people are, and obviously most of your scenes on the show are with him, of course.
Yeah.
On Legends. So, what can you talk a little bit about what it was like working with him?
I mean, I was very excited to meet him, and he was the nicest guy I've ever worked with. He was just so lovely and so game to play, and he was so much fun to work with. I loved working with him.
Sweet.
He's awesome. I mean, he's a legend.
He
He's
really
a
is.
legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend. They'll call him the hero.
He was awesome. I mean, he couldn't be nicer.
Good. That is great to hear.
Yeah.
Did you get any like challenging techie talk while you were on the show doing your science talk?
Yeah, because Lily is like a super genius, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, I know. Like, I feel like I had more techie talk in my audition, which those scenes weren't actually used on the show. It was Lily stuff, but I guess they rewrote the scenes, so I had more stuff, more techie stuff in the audition. But no, I don't think. I surprisingly didn't have a lot of techie stuff to memorize.
Cool. So I guess it wasn't like Star Trek then. Listeners made in the chat says legend all in caps. Yes, that's right, sir.
He is.
He is a legend.
He's a legend.
Absolutely.
He really is.
Okay, so obviously this past week was the big Crisis on Earth X storyline. All the shows did their 4-part crossover, and you got to be in that. So can you talk a little bit about what it was like being on there? Obviously, I mean, I guess I'm trying to think which other actors you were with, but did you get to be like in scenes with any actors that you normally weren't with, or?
Yeah. I mean, I was in this. I guess I had done an episode of Flash already, so I had met just a couple of those people. But yeah, I was in an episode of Supergirl, which had a bunch of people from the Flash and from Supergirl, people that I had never worked with before. Besides Mr. Jesse Martin, who I had done an episode of Criminal Intent with.
Oh, nice.
And we were talking, there was like this big like green room of people just waiting around for their scene to come up. And they were talking about his career on Criminal Intent. And I was eavesdropping. And they were talking about how people, they're like, who would want to play a corpse on one of these shows? I'm like, well, actually, I played a corpse on your show.
Oh, wait, were you one of the people who like got kills in the beginning?
I mean, I was in the entire trailer. I mean, in the entire teaser. So I was the person whose death they were investigating. But I had 3 or 4 scenes leading up to it.
Oh, sweet.
My death. But yeah, I ended up with a brick to my head and I was dead. Oh, wait. Was I dead in that? Yeah, that's the one I was dead in. Yeah.
That's just great.
You know what? I'm sorry. He wasn't Criminal Intent. He was regular.
Law and Order, regular
He was
Law and
regular.
Order.
Oh, no.
But you were in Criminal Intent as well, right?
I lied to him. I was in Criminal Intent as well. I lied to him. I was not dead in his show. Oh my God, I'm an idiot.
It's hard. There's so many Law and Orders. It's hard to keep track.
There
That's
is.
for sure.
But so you did. But
He had no idea. Yeah.
But you were in a scene with him in in the regular Law
I
and Order.
wasn't a scene with him. Yes, he definitely interrogated me because one of my friends died.
All right. Well, you know what? It's funny.
Did you do it? Did you murder the person?
I wish, man. That would have been more fun. Just a witness.
It's funny actually. As soon as you started answering that question, Carrie popped up in the chat saying, "Christina, on Law and Order, I can't remember did you have a scenes with Jesse L. Martin?" Well, she just answered that, so perfect.
I just got the wrong I did all three of them. I did Criminal Intent, I did SVU, and I did the regular.
Oh wow.
Nice. Oh yeah, well that makes sense, right? Because they all shoot in New York, right? So that's kind of like the staple, right? Of New York actors, they all got to do Law and Order.
The rite of passage.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's cool that you got to see him again. Well, so just how is it like just then doing the Crisis thing and getting to see other people and
I mean, I was first introduced to the Arrowverse last season during the crossover, so I got to meet everybody. I got to meet a bunch of people that I wouldn't have normally met if I was just doing one of the shows. So doing it again this year, I got to meet even more people from Supergirl and from Legends, Supergirl and from Legends, people that I met everybody from Legends, Supergirl and from Flash, people that I hadn't met yet, and it was cool. And they were like massive scenes, I didn't have much of a part in them, but they were, wedding scenes and engagement party scenes, and everybody was there. So it's pretty cool to be included in that.
A lot of emotional scenes.
Yeah. In the funeral, obviously.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, segue into my next question. By the way, folks, again, definitely spoilers if you have not seen Crisis on Earth X. No, that's fine. But there's always spoilers in the show, folks. So I'm just warning you if you're new to the show.
Always spoilers.
Yes.
Be prepared.
So obviously, with Lily's father dying in Crisis, do you think are we going to get to see Lily anymore in any of these shows? Will she use her super genius to solve all the Legends anachronisms?
I really hope so. I truly don't know. Yeah. I really hope that they need her nanotechnology brain to solve some nanotechnology disaster that's going on.
It'd be nice though, because obviously, like, my favorite part of the crossover, and we'll talk more later, is actually the stuff with Stein and Jackson and you guys, and it obviously showed like how Jax has a very connection with your characters and your mom's as well. So it would make sense, if you
it would.
Back, yeah.
Man, I hope so. I hope Lily's useful for them.
I was kind of hoping for it.
I truly don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer for you. I wish I was like, oh yeah, I'm pinned for this episode, but I have no idea.
Well, Jon-Paul, you have an idea, right? What you could do?
I have an idea. There's one I'd love for you to do. I don't know if there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously, you and your dad, on the show would share the same genetic, base. So you could be the other half of Firestorm with Jax. It would involve a lot more of the special effects stuff. But would you be up for that?
Of course I would. That would be amazing.
It would be. It would make sense too. I mean,
it would make sense.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping might happen.
Lily's a genius. So
yeah, and she's right, the same genetics. I think it'd be cool to have a female half of Firestorm instead of just all guys too.
I think so too. Let's see.
I think so.
I really don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't know.
All right. Well,
when you can see yourself with fire as your hero, it'd be interesting.
It's a good look for me.
Yeah. Marx, you got another one, right?
Oh yeah. So besides maybe what we hope would be the power of Firestorm someday, is there any other superpowered character in fiction you might like to play someday?
Superpower. Couldn't give me this one in advance.
Sorry. Let's say this. Would you like to be on Wonder Woman, the sequel of Wonder Woman?
I want to play her sister. I'm going to play her brainy sister. How about that?
Or she could be. I'm trying to think. Well, the sidekick is like Wonder Girl, right? And that we're not going to see. Her.
Yeah.
We're not going to see her probably.
No, we're going to write a new one. We're going to write.
Yeah. So like an Amazonian sister, maybe.
It's her adopted sister.
Her adopted sister. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I'm going to be the Brainiac. I'm going to be the Brainiac because
she can use that. Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
I can see that. She can have some like techie, super smart person helping.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to do any fight choreography at all?
I did. I played Kitty Genovese in a film called 37, and so I had to do that whole murder scene. But I mean, I guess it's not like a superhero like fighting back. It was like getting murdered.
Oh man, you get murdered a lot.
Did you get murdered, or did you do
I
the murder? Did you do the murdering or get murdered?
I mean, Kitty Genovese was murdered, so I was
yeah.
murdered in that one. But that was like the most intense night of physical activity I've ever done. Like it was an entire night of just like getting killed over and over. I couldn't breathe. Like I thought I was in pretty good shape, and I couldn't breathe. It was hard. Okay.
Jeez. All right, folks. There you go. Getting murdered is tough.
Very, very, very sad story. Yeah, but.
Oh, so yeah, it's based on a true story.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Kitty Genovese is she's a woman in 1960 something that was killed in Queens, and it's the story of how all of these people, 37 different people, witnessed it, and nobody called the police.
Oh.
It's a diffusion of responsibility. You know, it's everyone thinks someone else is going to call the police and help, and nobody did. It's very sad.
Yeah.
So that was my only fight choreography. We had a stunt guy teaching us.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, Jon-Paul, you got another one?
Yeah. Obviously, looking over IMDb and having seen you, you've had a lot of roles. I don't know if you can pick a favorite, but have any of them been kind of extra challenging or memorable, or maybe as crazy as the situation on Legends?
I think Orange is the New Black is definitely the most challenging and rewarding to be able to like play a younger version of somebody was, and somebody so complex, somebody with schizophrenia. I think that was just, I put everything into that and I had so much fun with it. So I think that was definitely my favorite.
Very cool. In the chat, Lister's Mate says, if I were to ever be in a production of something, I think I want to play a dead body. I think I could do that.
You know what? I always get nervous about.
Yeah, jobs and job.
You ever get nervous what little acting I've done? I always get nervous though that I'm gonna be caught breathing like while I'm supposed to be dead. And so
yeah, I totally did.
Like don't breathe. Then the more you think about it, the more you want to breathe. It's like no.
Deep breath. Oh, every time. 2 times now.
Also in the live chat, Carrie Johnson says, we knew Garber was leaving, but did you always know Martin would die?
No. I didn't know Martin would die until I read the script. I didn't know. I was sitting there reading the script and I was like, holy crap. I didn't know.
That must have been quite a shock.
Yeah. Totally a shock.
Cool. All right. That's what I got here for in the live chat. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Any of you guys, Marx or Jon-Paul?
Ask one more quick question. Since you've done some writing, you want to do more writing. What kind of genres do you like to write?
I'm writing something right now. My stuff is definitely on the darker side. I like dark comedy for sure. But the stuff I'm writing right now it's definitely dark.
Is there murder?
There's not murder, but there is death.
Okay.
Besides that, is there anything else, whether you're acting or producing or anything people should be on the lookout for that's coming out in like 2018 or anything? Or
not acting or producing? Not that I know of yet. No, not acting or producing. No.
Cool. Well, hopefully we'll see more in Legends in the future.
Yes. Hopefully.
And many other things.
Let's make a hashtag.
Yeah, please bring
Lily Firestorm.
Lily Firestorm? Yeah. Lily Firestorm. There you go, folks. If you're watching, hashtag that on Twitter.
And then, tag the Legends writers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I'm sure, hopefully they're all watching right now.
Yeah.
It just, it makes so much sense, and that's why they're not going to do it, but they should. But it does. It's, perfect. It's, so logical to do that.
Oh, yeah.
As long as she comes back, to solve some problems and kick some ass, that'd be cool.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so folks, you can follow Christina at Chrissy Brucato on Twitter. Of course, obviously, you can look up all her past stuff on IMDb as well. Thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you.
And like I said, hopefully we'll have more Lily Stein, more to talk about in the future as well.
All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, have a great night. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Good night.
All right, bye.
All right. Thanks very much to Christina for coming on. Thank you guys in the chat for all your great questions and comments. Next week, by the way, December 10th, We have another Legends actress on, Jess McCallan, who plays Ava Sharp from the Time Bureau? Is that what they're called? Yeah. She's going to be on. I'm excited about that. I really like her character. And that, folks, by the way, next week will be our last show for a while because all those shows are doing their mid-season finales. They're going to be off for about 5 weeks until mid-January. All right. So, hey, I guess it's time. Oh, actually, wait. You know what? Before we do... So we're going to do the big Crisis on Earth X discussion, obviously. But I also want to talk a little bit... I know Justice League came out a couple weeks ago, and Francis, who was on our show, he gave his review when it was on. But I hadn't seen it at the time. I did see it now. Jon-Paul's seen it. Marx, have you gotten a chance to?
No, I haven't. But just don't spoil anything super big, and I'm okay.
All right. Like mild spoilers are okay?
Mild spoilers. I probably already heard them from stuff anyway, so no big spoilers.
All right, cool. Jon-Paul, do you want to start maybe just, I don't know, overall thoughts on Justice League?
Yeah. I saw it twice. I had to see it opening night because I didn't want anything spoiled. I didn't even want the minor stuff spoiled on it. I feel like I've been waiting 49 years for this movie since it's what I was raised on with these comics. And one of my friends, the one who co-hosts the podcast with me, said he knew I was going to like this no matter what, which is not exactly true. Just because it's DC, I didn't like Catwoman. I didn't like Steel. There's movies but I knew, I was going to like it, and I did. I loved it. Went back a couple days later, saw it a second time where I could sit and more analyze it. First time was just to absorb and just enjoy and not try to overanalyze it. And it held up on the second watching just as much, still cheered in the same moments. I thought the balance on it was really good. The balance of the action scenes versus the character moments, between each of the characters. That was something I thought with the switch from Zack Snyder to Joss Whedon and all the different stuff we've heard about in the production, I was worried about how it would feel, how the editing would feel. And even though probably the first half hour to 40 minutes, I noticed a few scenes that are kind of rough on their cuts. The rest of it either were not rough or you get so involved in the story you don't notice them anymore. And even the second time through, I had the same reaction. So I thought it came out very balanced. Just really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, folks, I know some of you, like Carrie, you shared your thoughts on Justice League a couple weeks ago, but feel free to do it again, or if you weren't there for that show. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the chat there. Okay, so yeah, you know what? Oh my God, I fucking love this movie. And I'm so happy. Like you, I've been waiting like forever for Justice League, pretty much my whole life for a Justice League movie.
Yep.
And honestly, this is like everything I wanted in a Justice League movie. Like I really could not have asked for much more. So I was really happy. I thought the pacing was like really good in this movie. Like the movie moved. It was just really well paced. I think like what I love really is the way all the characters interacted with each other. Like it just worked. Yeah. I think the casting was spot on. Like we already knew some of them, but even like the new guys like Ezra Miller, right, and Ray Fisher. I really enjoyed them as Flash and Cyborg and Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Like they just all felt right in the roles. But also the characters, like I don't know, they jived well together. There was good chemistry. They weren't all fight. I mean, there's one time like there's a fight kind of amongst them. I'm not going to go into exactly why that happens, but outside of that, instead of like usually they're like, oh, we got to beat at each other's throats. No, they were actually just trying to, save the world for the most part.
It all made sense. Yeah, it made sense. Although I find it interesting that one of the complaints, because obviously the movie is disappointing from a financial standpoint. I mean, it's not doing what Warner Brothers anybody hoped. When you read people kind of break it down, and one of the complaints they have is that DC took the opposite approach from Marvel, where they didn't give you all the individual movies first to really build up the backstories. They just threw you in from the beginning. I probably was where Warner Brothers was. I didn't think it was as necessary. I mean, everybody in the world, or definitely in America, knows who Superman is, who Batman is, who Wonder Woman is. We know these basic characters. Maybe not everybody knows Cyborg, or every little detail about each one of them, but we've all grown up watching Super Friends, and no matter what age you are, you've had a Superman and a Batman and so on. They're all so well known. I thought one of the strengths on this was it felt very much like one of the Justice League or Justice League Unlimited cartoons, where you don't get a ton of backstory you jump into these characters as their heroes, working together, good character moments together, and straight into the action. But again, you can have some quiet character moments, but they don't dig tons into the backgrounds of the characters. That's built up over a lot of different episodes. So I really thought this movie felt like a little bit of a live-action Justice League Unlimited.
Cool. Well, yeah, both those Justice League animated series are my favorites of all time, so that's a great reference. I agree with you. Like, I think it totally worked the way they did it instead of having to do all the individual movies first.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, like, I think it totally worked. I really liked there was also there was some good humor in this as well. Not necessarily like super. It's not Deadpool humor, right? But it's like kind of little, make you smile humor. Which is nice to see. Again, this is definitely a much lighter movie than Batman v Superman or Man of Steel in terms of tone, which is nice to see. And I mean, the actors are just like Gal Gadot. Dude, I will watch her like, oh my god, as much as possible as Wonder Woman. Like, there could not be a better Wonder Woman. Like, everybody already knew this from the movie, obviously the Wonder Woman movie, but she is awesome. Like, she just rocks that role. And you know what? Like, before Ben Affleck was even playing him, I'm a big fan of Ben Affleck, and I thought he was going to be good, even though a lot of people were criticizing that. After this second time seeing him, I honestly think he's my favorite live-action Batman now. I actually think he's above Michael Keaton for me. Like, he's Bruce Wayne. He's Batman. Like, he embodies that role. The voice is perfect as Batman. He's awesome as Bruce Wayne. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, this is why the actors just did such a great job.
I will say, though, you mentioned one that you really liked, and I think we're going to, unlike Legends, where we were opposite, I think this is one where we're almost exactly on the same page except for one. Ezra Miller did a fantastic job. His character worked with everybody else. He was a lot of fun as the Flash. It all blended together really well, except I hated the incarnation of the Flash they did. It was not Barry Allen. Not just because he was not like the one from TV, but the one from TV and the one from the comics are very, very similar. They changed so much. I get over it pretty quickly because, well, we know this is a different Earth, and DC has all their different Earths with lots of little differences and changes. So this is Earth Zack Snyder. It's Earth Z maybe. I don't know, whatever. It's but I didn't care for the Flash version. The character and the actor worked in this story, but I didn't care for the version.
Was he a little too humorous for you? Like,
it was the scatterbrain, kind of all over the place, a little young and immature. If they'd made him Wally instead of Barry, it would have worked a little bit better. Not because I don't like Wally. I just think that the personality they portrayed on screen would have been a better Wally West than he was a Barry Allen.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I dug him a lot because I think that, like, it fit well his character the way he was playing in the team, right? He was kind of more the goofy one, and he portrayed him great. And I think it worked really well with the dynamic, like you said, with the rest of the team having it. And they did some really cool, Flash super speed stuff and slow mo. Like, the action scenes were awesome, by the way, too. They rocked. Let me share some chat stuff here, by the way. Sci-Fi Pulse says, I quite like Justice League 2. It's too bad that the critics have been savaging it. I felt it was all right. He says, Sci-Fi Pulse also says, love the part where Aquaman sits on Wonder Woman's lasso. We won't go exactly into what happens there, but that's a fun scene. And Carrie Johnson says, my only argument about the lack of individual movie buildup is, you know who the characters are, but you don't know yet why you should care about them. Fair point. I guess, He also says, no spoilers, but that Justice League cameo by Supergirl was awesome. I read about that. What was it? Was some shot supposed to, where, do you know what he saw? Is there a Supergirl cameo?
I don't remember a Supergirl cameo.
I read something about that. I don't remember seeing her at all. Carrie, tell us what it is.
It was the Invisible Woman version.
She was in Wonder Woman's invisible jet.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going to just be different. Even though I haven't watched it, I'm going to say I didn't like it. And I really thought the unaired Justice League TV pilot was much better.
is there an unaired Justice League TV pilot?
There is. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't think I've seen it, but yeah. All right. Yeah. Marx hasn't seen it. He's just joking, folks. I'm trying to think.
I will say Ezra Miller, as much as I didn't like that incarnation, he did such a good job. I'm not sure anybody else could have got across so much acting with just a look in the eyes. You know, you mentioned a couple different fight scenes, and there's a couple of spots where all you see is his reaction to a scene just through the mask in his eyes, and you know exactly what's going on. You know what's going on in his head, and you can't help but laugh and go, "Oh no," or "Oh crap," or just start laughing out loud, whatever it is. He does a lot. He did a great job with the script they gave him.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. He was great. But Carrie says, I'm kidding about the Supergirl cameo. Okay.
Oh.
I had read something in the trailers that somebody thought maybe it was going to be a Supergirl in there. I guess that's what I was thinking of. But it didn't turn out that way, obviously. So I see Supergirl behind Jon-Paul, though. So there you go. Supergirl. So I'm trying to think. You know, the only thing that was a little weird to me, and maybe Jon-Paul, you can, or Marx too, because you guys know the comics well. I've always grown up feeling that Wonder Woman is supposed to be just as strong or nearly as strong as Superman. Is that correct in the comics?
Not quite. She's close, but not quite as strong.
Okay. All right.
There's different versions. Like some of them, she flies. Some of them, she has the invisible plane. So
yeah. All right. I guess that's. I don't know. I mean, she did hold her own pretty well. I'm trying to do a spoiler, but I don't know. I guess I felt maybe a little bit more.
I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen Wonder Woman movie, and it seems like she's not as strong as Superman. Because she'd be killing people left and right when she kicks and punches them.
Well, no, but she's pulling, she's pulling her punches.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But they would never get back up. Let's just say that. At least not right away.
Yeah. There were lots of good little treats and cameo and things in there for the longtime comic book person, which didn't take away from the movie. I mean, like some of the history, at one point, some of the characters relate some of the history of what's going on and explain it. So you don't it's not a mystery. Everything's explained. There's nothing you're sitting there confused about. But they drop in just enough little things that you go, oh, cool. And somebody who doesn't know about it, they're not going to care. They're just going to watch and enjoy it. So I don't know how much of that was Joss and how much of that was Zack Snyder. I don't know, but it all worked for me.
Yeah, what I really... go ahead, sorry.
That's good, because one of my concerns about the way they're approaching the DC properties was like in Batman Superman. There was a lot of stuff in there that, as a fan of the comic books, you get the references, but or people who hadn't read the comic books, it would over their heads. Like whenever Robin's costume had the spray paint on it and stuff, we can get some hints there of why Batman's so dark now, and then also with the whole vision of the future and stuff with Flash. I think most audiences probably had no idea what that was, because they were interceded with those dream sequences. Yeah. And, I know, I'm like, they're parademons, Batman doesn't know anything about them, because it has to be from the future and stuff. But I can see where civilians would be confused. So I'm glad they didn't do that with Justice League.
No, this is clear. Yeah, this story is clear and understandable, which is good.
For example, that Robin costume you're talking about in Batman or Superman. In this one, it would have just been Batman walking past a Robin costume and a Nightwing costume under glass, not even stopping. You just see them as he passes them. As a fan, you go, "Oh, cool, I saw him," and then he moves on. For anybody who doesn't care, it doesn't matter. That's more of how these kind of things are done.
Yeah, I like those little Easter eggs. So.
Yeah, and I loved near the beginning, and this is not really a spoiler, Marks, but near the beginning, because they, like Jon-Paul said, there's someone telling some of the backstory kind of about Steppenwolf and stuff, right? But we get to see Green Lantern Corps.
Oh, really?
In the battle,
that's cool.
And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Does Hal Jordan exist in this, or have they not touched on it?
It wasn't Hal Jordan. We got to see like some of the alien Green Lanterns. At least that's what I spotted when I was watching it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's cool getting to see the Amazons and Atlanteans all together fighting in the past and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, so it's in that scene. Okay, I saw that in the trailer. So that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that's cool. I didn't notice. My wife noticed it because she loved Wonder Woman even more than I did. I'm blanking on the actor's name, but the one who played Ares, he gets credit in this. He's in that big battle as well. So I don't know.
David Thewlis, maybe.
Yes. I don't know if he filmed something for this or if they used leftover footage from Wonder Woman, but he's in the battle. Which
wow,
that's kind of cool.
That is cool. I did not know that.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, first, so I mean, I think I could see some of, I think, Joss Whedon's influence with some of the funnier, like, toned stuff. But you know what? I'm going to give huge props to Zack Snyder, because Zack Snyder gets a lot of shit from people. And I get it. I've also not been completely happy with some of Zack Snyder's previous stuff, you know, at least story-wise. But I think, from what I understand, again, most of this film was done. That's what the actor said at Comic-Con anyway. Yeah. So this is, and it says a Zack Snyder film in the beginning. It doesn't say directed by him and Whedon. It says Zack Snyder. So this, he did an awesome job. I think this is probably his best just about directing. This is his film that he's ever done. Actually, it is. It's my favorite film he's done. So I want to give props to him. He did a really good job. And Whedon co-wrote it too. I didn't even know that at first, by the way. So
did he?
Chris Terrio and Joss Whedon co-wrote it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Chris Terrio, actually, he wrote Batman v Superman, but he also wrote Argo, which was the Ben Affleck Oscar Award winner.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. And he's probably...
I will say there were...
Go ahead.
I was going to say there were probably 3 or 4 scenes, though, that were very clearly Joss. Yeah, there was... You finish the scene, you go, okay.
Yeah, like the lasso one they mentioned.
Whole collaboration.
Yeah, the lasso one, I'm sure, was Joss. Some of the other, which is nice, but that stuff worked. It was cool to see that in.
Oh, absolutely. And
yeah,
I will say I'm not going to spoil what they are. There are 2, you know, when you do finally get to go see it, there are 2 after credit scenes, one mid, one post.
At the end,
yep. They're very worth seeing. I sat through Thor to their final 2. I felt like I wasted my time sitting through Thor for the final scene, but this one was more than worth it. And by the end of it, I'm so excited for whatever they do next.
Cool. It's the post credit one, the very one at the very end sets up part 2 of Justice League or the next very nicely.
Yeah. What is next? Is part 2 next or something else?
It was always supposed to be Justice League Part 2 is what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Now we see.
I mean, we have the individual movies in between, I guess, you know, some of those, but yeah. But second.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Warner Brothers changes their release strategy now after this or not. So
I hope, and I hope you haven't seen it, folks. Go see it. I know, you know, some people were hesitant, and even I was not sure. You know, I was hopeful, but I didn't know how well this was going to go. But I really think it was awesome. I was super happy.
Yep.
There was justice.
Yeah, there you go. Well, no, that's the thing, man. Like when you're waiting this long for like decades for this movie, you know, it's nice when it actually pans out and you really enjoy it.
Oh yeah, that's why I hope I enjoy it as much as you guys. Yeah. So because I want to enjoy Justice League.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people won't agree with this. I actually liked it way better than either of the Avengers movies. I know. Well, there you go.
Just got to do that.
Hey man,
I'm sure it's better than the second one. The second one was
the second one was weaker for sure. First one was good. No, first one was good.
Yeah, and I think Infinity War is going to be pretty good. Just because, if anything, just to see all those characters together. But
that's why this one worked, though. I think too. It didn't go overboard with how many characters. Like it was pretty much the 5 for most of it, you know, which is it was just an okay amount.
Yeah.
In the chat before we move on, Carrie says in the Justice League trailer, the hologram that Bruce Wayne looked at kind of looked like Supergirl. I think that's what I was referencing. Carrie also says, I would totally go see an Amazon's movie with Connie Nielsen and Robin Wright in the days before Diana's birth. Hell yeah. Connie Nielsen is so awesome as Hippolyta. Yeah. The Amazon just rock. Like, they do a good job. They do a great job.
Yeah, they did. I just watched, have you been watching Kirkman's Secret History of Comic Books?
No, I saw a commercial for it, though. I didn't, yeah. Is it good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I watched the one about Wonder Woman. It was interesting to see.
Oh, nice.
The stories behind the creators who created them. So
I want to see the movie that was only in theaters for like a week, but the Professor Marston movie.
Marston.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was about the real life of Marston and his wife and the other lover or whatever.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're making a movie of that.
Well, they already did, but it came out like a couple months ago. I'll catch it on like Blu-ray. It didn't last very long, unfortunately.
What was it called?
It was Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman, I think is what it was called.
Yeah. Well, that's why. It's a terrible name.
well, it's good though. Well, it's good if you're a comic fan, you get it. Right.
It sounds like a comedy or something.
It makes sense to me, man. I get it.
Well, I get it. Yeah, but But anyway, I'll definitely check it out because it was a very interesting story. Because it was all about that relationship and the times and how Wonder Woman changed and stuff after his death and everything. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, the director of Wonder Woman on there is talking. Also.
Patty Jenkins, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did also like. You know what? I felt Wonder Woman in this movie though was very accurate to how she was in the Wonder Woman solo movie. Like it was played the same. The writing was like spot on. Obviously Gal Gadot, I mean, was playing the same, but like that was good. Like it's sometimes you never know like when they go and star in. So that was good.
And you're right. She's incredible. Some of the little things, just the subtle stuff. This one won't be a spoiler because it was one of the trailers where she flies past, knocks a couple of parademons off the Batmobile, skids to a halt, flips the hair back and looks towards Bruce, and then just gives a smile. That smile just floors you when something about that moment is just perfect.
In the chat, Sci-Fi Pulse had said, unaired JL pilot can't be any worse than the Hoff as Nick Fury. That one I have seen. I did see that.
It's worse. It's worse.
Pretty bad.
It's worse than that? Oh, God, that's bad then. Because that's so bad.
And it was the Justice League International lineup, the one that was more comedic back then, like Fire and Ice, and was Guy Gardner in it too? I think Gardner was.
I think so. I think so. Martian Manhunter was the worst part.
Oh yeah, his costume was terrible. Yeah, it was horrible.
David Ogden Stiers, shirtless, painted green, just doesn't work.
You can find this on YouTube, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You probably It's out there. It's out there in the web somewhere.
There you go, folks. Raysa in the chat says they were going to bring Linda Carter in as Hippolyta, but schedule issues. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Huh.
Well, Linda Carter's doing great as the president on Supergirl. It's nice to see. But I'll be honest with you, I like Connie Nielsen a lot. I've liked her before Wonder Woman, and I just think she's perfect as Hippolyta. So I'm glad they got her. Because Carrie says, I love Linda Carter, but I don't know if she would have been right for this Hippolyta. Maybe she could play one of the Amazon elders in the next movie. That could be cool. They work.
Sounds like an age jab to me.
All right, come on. Look, Linda Carter's great, but it's been a long time since the Wonder Woman series.
She seems ageless when you look at her.
That's true. She does look really good still.
Yeah. She's aging quite well. What was funny when I watched the whole Wonder Woman Secret History thing? There was actually a classic story back in the original run where Wonder Woman ran for president. So I thought that was really nice, a little connection there.
Did she win? Did she run against Lex Luthor?
No, she didn't. I don't know who she ran against.
Luthor. Did she win or no?
Well, I don't know. They didn't say.
Yeah. Sure. So Luthor gets to become president, but not Wonder Woman? Jeez.
Sign of the times, I guess. I don't know.
All right. There you go, folks. There's our Justice League chat. All right, cool. Now I can't wait till this movie comes out on Blu-ray. Like, I never buy movies anymore, but like this one I actually want to get. All right. Let's see. Oh, well, I guess now it's time for Crisis on Earth X. That was amazing sound effects. Wow. Wow. They should have done that as the opening instead of like mixing all the different themes together. Just get Marx Pyle to do it.
I offered. They didn't take me up on the offer though. Oh well.
I don't know why. All right. I see you put all the things in here like we usually do, Mark. Do you wanna go over all the writers and stuff, or just skip that?
Well, we'll say that the story that's when the original concept before it's the final result of the script was by Mark Guggenheim and Andrew Kreisberg. So, and there's teleplays are by different writers from each show. So.
Oh yeah, right. It looks like all the writers the actual writers from the shows did their actual specific things, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So they got to iron it out. Yeah, it's specific, which is good because that way they're gonna nail the dialogue the best probably of some of those characters. So. I don't know.
All right, folks. So here we go on our Crisis on Earth X. Again, if you haven't seen it, this will be lots of spoilers now. So let's just start with overall thoughts. So I know, well, from what you typed to me on Facebook, it looks like you really loved it, Jon-Paul. You want to talk a little bit?
Sure. Honestly, I saw an article with the same title. This was exactly what Warner Brothers and DC needed after this disappointment at the box office for Justice League. This was incredible. This this to me was better than the Justice League movie. And I obviously just got through saying how much I loved it. I thought this was even better. Every character got a moment. It was very balanced, action to character moments, and more deeper, more meaningful character moments than you got in Justice League, because you could do that. You did have the backstory.
Yeah, in the chat, Carrie says, "Crisis talk. Nice to see Earth X Guardian getting something to do. Dead before the credits, though. That seemed great."
That was cool.
It was cool that he got to be, like, I guess one of the freedom fighters. Like, right? Is that what you're saying they were called, Marx?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they never used that term, but yeah, they're freedom fighters. So
that was really cool. Like, that was a really cool role for him, right? He died real soon, but at least he got something cool to do.
Yeah, it was a neat design, a little Captain America-ish in a way.
Yeah. I did like that. So, Mark, what did you think overall?
Yeah, overall, it was really strong. It was definitely stronger than last year's. It just tied together a lot more seamlessly as a big miniseries event, pretty much. They really worked in Supergirl a lot better than last time, and there was a lot of good. They've always been pretty good about these crossovers, giving some kind of character moment type things that allow them to grow or change in some way. And they did the same thing in this one too, with a lot of the relationship stuff going on especially with Iris and Barry and with Oliver and Felicity and a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's amazing they crammed everything in. I had a few logical issues in it, and I thought the last part was the weakest link in it, but it was really good.
All right. So I didn't like it as much as you guys. I agree it's better than last year's, but I think last year's was definitely not good. The Dominator stuff was lackluster. So it was better than last year's crossover. I definitely like the Justice League movie way better than this thing. So I'm a little opposite of you, Jon-Paul, on that. So I mean, you're right. They did. I feel a lot more like the B storylines this year with the personal relationships than they did last year's crossover. That was a big focus. And I mean, some of that I think worked very well. I guess for me, and we might as well dive into this, the main thing is just the main storyline just wasn't that thrilling to me. Like, here's a couple things. I said this before. I just feel the alternate Earth Nazis taking over is has been done so many other times. It was really smart when it was done the first time and clever. But, like, I've seen that so many times now, I'm like, okay, I get it, guys. Like, and I guess I feel like they didn't even have to be neo-Nazis or Nazis. They could have been any bad guys. Like, I didn't feel like they really addressed any. They didn't really want to get into the social issues of that. They just wanted to tell a story. Hey, we're fighting Nazis. Let's have a cool action story about fighting Nazis. So, like, I don't know. Why do they have to be Nazis then? Right? Why can't they be just any bad guys? I don't know. Like, it just felt like it was
nobody likes Nazis.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. It's the easy thing to say. Oh, here's an enemy anybody can hate. But we did all these other seasons where we have all these villains that were Nazis, and we don't like them either. You know, so we don't have to have Nazis to get behind the heroes.
I think at the core, they really wanted to have the evil versions of the main characters.
Yes.
And they've already kind of eliminated that on the Flash by making Earth 2, where everybody was, maybe not everybody, but close to everybody seemed to be the evil versions. This is the only other one that kind of a pre-established one. And I don't know. I personally, because it has been around since the 60s, I love the whole Freedom Fighters Earth X storyline. But again, you're right. It has been around a long time. We've seen it in a lot of different places. But the stories this is based on is one of the first places that it was done.
Oh, that's interesting. Right. So it was done in the 60s originally, you're saying, in the comics?
Yeah.
Right.
Or before, maybe. Or maybe 60s.
All right. Well, then definitely props to them for doing it back then. That's cool. That was very inventive then. I guess
because the Freedom Fighters, when they created the Freedom Fighters, they're on Earth X, and they merged all those characters together when they did Crisis on Infinite Earths. So the Ray and some of those other characters moved over to the normal DC universe at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the main thing they wanted to do, and what I thought was kind of the most interesting thing, is they wanted evil versions of the characters, and the Nazis just happened to be there. Like, I think that's what I felt like they were doing.
Well, it's timely too, because it's been in the news a lot lately with that, unfortunately. So, so that might have also influenced their decision. I think the most I think when Justice League Unlimited or Justice League, whatever version of the cartoon it was at the time, when they did the Justice Lords, right? Yeah, when they did that storyline, that was a really cool version. Because I could really get into liking those villains and
yeah, because they did that in the cartoons, right? In the animated series one time.
Yeah.
The Justice Lords are cool, and are they Earth 2 or what? Is that what they?
No, I can't remember which Earth the Justice Lords were, but they weren't necessarily evil. They're the ones that had gone to the extreme, and had taken over.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I wish they did that.
It works. Yeah, it works really well.
Because that's cool. Because they're not pure like Nazi evil, right? They're just like they're doing what they think is the best for the world, but they go to such extreme measures it's bad. At least in our viewpoint, right? Or in the Earth 1 heroes viewpoint.
Right.
That would have been way more interesting to me, actually.
Well, maybe they'll do it someday. I hope, because I would love to see Superman guest star on there, and they have to fight evil Superman. That'd be pretty cool.
So speaking of that, Reyes has a couple of questions. We actually have a lot of chatting already going on. How did Ollie get kryptonite? She wants to know. Any explanations?
He's Earth 1's version of Batman. He's just always prepared. Yeah, right. It's a mystery, but he's always prepared.
And he's always rich somehow. I don't know.
Right. I like Bruce when he really is rich. Somehow Ollie still is rich.
Well, I mean, they alluded. They said there's a Supergirl on every Earth. So I guess Krypton existed on this Earth. That we just never got a Superman or Supergirl.
Oh yeah,
yet.
She said unless Krypton was like destroyed in Earth 1.
Yeah, apparently we just didn't get those superheroes for whatever reason. Yeah. So.
Racist then also says, did Thawne fight Earth 1 Super in the future? Because Thawne references that, right? I know your cousin. I fought him or something, does he say? Or
yeah, so they're setting up a potential future storyline, which is cool. That'd be really cool.
That'd be cool if he guest stars in Supergirl.
Yeah.
Listeners may... Oh my god, sorry. I'm losing all this chat stuff here. There's so much stuff. Let me go back. Listeners may says, Crisis on Earth X was much better than last year's crossovers, but I do like the reference to last year's crossover in the start of the Supergirl episode. Carrie says about the kryptonite, I'm thinking Cisco might have synthesized some and gave it to Ollie. For what reason, I don't know. Well, maybe if he was preparing for a Supergirl to go bad, like Batman would, right? Like you said. Reza says, love Colin Donnell's returned as Tommy, right? That's, by the way, Mark, when I said there's one part you're going to love, that's what I thought you were going to love.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome. I think that was a nice nod to any fans that thought about that. Because
that was your prediction last year. So I was like, he's finally going to get some vindication.
Yeah, and he did a great job. He would have been a good bad guy.
5 years, right, since he's been on? It's a long time.
He's on a different show now, right? So that's why. I heard Steven posted something on Twitter about how he went from his job, like that guy plays Tommy. I can't remember his name.
Colin Donnell.
And he flew over there, filmed his scene, and then had to fly right back or something. It was like all big rush, but he was committed in doing it, so giving him kudos.
Cool, good for him, man.
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Paul says, yep, I think they did skirt around the social issues, but I did think the way they wrote out Stein was really touchy, and I shed man tears over that. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. That was actually, I think, the most well-done thing of the...
And he's a Jewish character killed by evil Nazis.
Reyes actually predicted that that might happen. Lister's Mate wants to know, when did Diggle get ordained as a minister? We'll talk about that later, too. We'll save that for the end, because that's at the end of the episode. Oh, Stormy says Dig married his brother and his wife Carly. Oh, yeah, they mentioned that, actually, in this episode. That's why he got ordained. Carrie says, oh, I didn't even realize this. Good catch, Carrie. He says, I'm deep diving early, but it was awesome to hear Susanna Thompson as Earth X Gideon and Dark Alley telling her to shut up. I didn't know that was his mom's voice.
I looked her up because that sounds like a different voice. I wonder who.
I knew it was a different voice. Yeah, I didn't know it was her.
I figured it'd be something like that because they're good about that, casting nods to that.
Retro Outside the Box says Kryptonite only works on the Kryptonian from that universe. Last I checked. So he's saying if it was a Kryptonite from a different.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, it was interesting though that he shot like bad Kara. But it didn't affect her as much as it would have the Kara we know. Like usually Kryptonite, they're on the floor pretty much, right? She was kind of like, oh, wow, that hurt. But I'm still standing
she's
here.
A Nazi.
So I guess maybe she could resist it more.
Well, she was supercharged too, remember? So
Yeah, they didn't say a whole lot about that, but yeah, she's supposed to be supercharged. I'm assuming.
Wait, what does that mean? She used her credit card? What do you supercharge?
That's why she was dying, right?
Oh, from the sun. You mean from the sun, right?
Did you ever read All-Star Superman when it came out?
No, I didn't like that.
I'm assuming that's a nod to that, of how Superman was dying from that.
I didn't get that part. She was supercharged from her own sun on Earth X?
Yeah.
Which was a red sun, is that right? Or no, a normal sun?
I think it's normal. I think the skies are just red because that's a good way to make it look evil.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah. Well, so wait, how did she get supercharged? I don't understand that. Doesn't the sun give Superman and their powers, more or less?
Yeah, I think they're like batteries soaking up, but if they get overcharged, it could...
How does she get overcharged? I don't get it. This car doesn't get overcharged. Superman doesn't get overcharged.
She compared it to Icarus, flying too close to the sun. So I don't know if she were supposed to take that.
So she just hangs around. She hangs out right near the sun all the time. I don't know. I just felt like they kind of threw that in, and just accept it, guys, and move on.
I think like in All-Star Superman, either it was over time or because he flew into the sun to do something, and then he got poisoned by it because of it. It was supercharged. Because the whole thing of All-Star Superman, it's like an alternate version of Superman. And he finds out he's dying, and it's like the last days of that, and coping with that and stuff, but it's all, I think that's what they're nodding to. So, but that's something. The whole all these characters. I think if we had a better understanding of their backstories a little bit, they would have meant more to us, because there was a lot of. There just seems like there's a lot of stuff that happened that was not explained, like why. Like what you said, how she gets supercharged and stuff, why that happened. How did Arrow become the leader of all these people? I mean...
Yeah, because he was the Führer, right? Can I just tell you, by the way, that it took me probably like 2 episodes to know who the hell the Führer was, that it was actually him. Like,
yeah,
was it him? Was it Quentin? Like, what? I don't know, who was the leader of these Nazis?
Yeah, it did take a while before they just spelled it straight out. I guessed it before that, but you're right. That's probably one of the few things that I like. Yeah, you should have made that clearer. I think they just assumed we would say, since Ollie's kind of the grandfather of the Arrowverse, we just know he's going to be the leader on the bad side too. But I don't assume that.
I got promoted from mayor to king of the world.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible promotion, though.
I mean, when it comes out, they do go like hell, fear, hell, whatever. But you're like, well, actually, Nazis say that all the time. It doesn't.
Yeah, but there was him. Carr was there. Maybe Tommy was there. I don't know. There were so many people there. Like, who are they saying it to?
Yeah, from that scene, I actually thought the evil Supergirl was the leader. It makes a lot of sense too. She's super powerful. But yeah, it was confusing.
Overgirl, right? Is what I guess what she was called in that. Is that right?
I guess so.
They don't really say that either, but in the episode.
No, they never really use. And he's called Dark Arrow. I don't know if they ever said.
Oh,
Dark
is he?
Arrow.
They really just use their first names, I guess.
Overgirl, I think, is the only one they did come out and say.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, a couple of times. In general, a lot.
In the chat, Lister's May says, I like how Ray Palmer saved Kara by shrinking down so small that he could stop the knife from cutting her. Racist says, best entrance for that. And then Carrie says, Lister's May, that was awesome. I'm pretty sure he had his eyes closed walking around Kara's bosom.
I liked whenever, soon after that, whenever he enlarged his hand and smacked. That was pretty good.
Oh, I will say that was one I saw. There was some meme on Facebook that I had not even picked up on. I don't know how many minutes before, I didn't go back and count, but some minutes before he saves her, in that episode, she makes the comment to Thawne that my cousin will find you, or my cousin will save me, or something like that. Well, technically, in some other way, her cousin was the one, since he has been Superman before.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, think of that.
So I don't know if the writers intended that, but it was a nice kind of Easter egg.
Kind of makes sense in a way, because it's like, well, how's Superman going to find you on a different Earth?
Yeah.
He seems to always be busy.
Yes. Well, I mean, that makes sense. He is a very busy guy. Obviously, he's Superman. So what did you guys think of the... obviously, a few of the different actors got to play their, evil doppelgangers here. What did you think of that? Those portrayals?
Yeah, Overgirl was good. You know, Evil Ollie was pretty much Ollie. You know, he didn't change too much.
That's the thing. Like some of the, I felt Ollie was really still Oliver. It's like, and like
he's just moodier.
I thought he was moodier. I actually expected him as the leader of the Nazis to be way more evil than he was. I'm like, well, he's just kind of, I don't know. Okay, he's kind of like a little moodier, badder version of Ollie.
He's trying to save his wife, you know, because he's a Nazi. I don't know.
Now, what's Blackstone? Paul Blackstone, right? That played Lance.
Oh yeah, Blackthorn.
He did an amazing job. That was like
he was good.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, so here's the thing. He was good. The one of my favorite actually was Wynn. I actually thought Wynn was awesome as the Freedom Fighters leader.
Yeah.
I always like to see actors playing totally different than what their normal thing is, and that was a total like 180 for his character, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it was totally believable. I was like, yo, he rocks as this one. I didn't feel that as much with, like, unfortunately, Oliver and Kara's characters.
No, not at all with Oliver, because he was so close to the same. But Supergirl a little bit.
She was different, but
not as much. But she's still a little different.
When she was talking to herself, when they're in the when they're in the operating room, and it's just the two of them. So she gets to play both parts. But that whole speech she gives and how she comes across as so self-centered versus Supergirl's, caring about everybody else first. I thought she did a good job there portraying the opposite, better than any of the other scenes. A lot of the scenes, she's just, a different dressed Supergirl. But that scene, she sold it, I thought.
Yeah, that was the best scene. I agree. That's a little bit. I really wished. I don't know. Like it was a little weak for me. I wish they were really more distinct differences. What'd
you say about Cold? Start.
You know what? This is. I do not like Cold at all. But you know what? This is by far my favorite version of Cold.
Well, good.
He was good. He'll be back next week.
He said he purposely tried to make this performance very different than the other one.
Yeah, because he was kind of funny and like a cheerful and like this Cold I could actually take probably.
Probably the only line the entire time that came across as the original Cold was his entrance line.
Oh yeah,
I hate fire or whatever. But after that, he was completely different.
That line I was like, oh great, here comes Cold. But then I was like, oh okay, it's a different Cold. Good. I will say the reasoning for him to stay on Earth 1 is absolutely preposterous. The way they did that. Hey, husband. I don't know if they're married or not, but whatever. My boyfriend or my husband. I'm just gonna stay here. I just need to. And then Ray's like, okay, see you later.
Yeah,
what?
That seemed pretty.
If that was any of the main characters, they would have this big, drawn out. What? Why? Oh my God, I'm crying. Blah blah.
Well, he said he's just gonna stay for a while.
But why? It's ridiculous.
I'm assuming he has some other goal in mind.
He has to cheer Mick up, I guess, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's got some other motive going on. I'm assuming. I'm glad to see him. He's gonna be in Legends, right? So that'd be cool to see that dynamic again.
Now he's not coming back to Legends for good, right?
No.
No. Okay.
No. If anything, it sounds like the actor's leaving his recurring role pretty soon in the contract. So.
Oh, he's leaving the Cold role?
Yeah, okay. for a while. So
I thought he left it last year for good. Pretty much. Sci-Fi Paul, there's lots of chat going on here. Says, I thought Overgirl was hot. I much prefer evil Supergirl. She's sexy, my ideal woman. Well, there we go. Now we know what he likes. Carrie says, I'm glad we didn't get Evil Barry because we did that last season with Savitar. I want to come back to that in a second. Stormy Wood says, seeing Earth X Felicity broke my heart. She was feeding starving children in the concentration camp. Emily Bett today said that was such a tough scene to film. And Carrie says, what's strange to me, why do doppelgangers have the same makeup hairstyles? Well, Listeners May says, I think Citizen Cold is going to help Roy deal with his doppelganger being gone. That's likely. Let's go back to the thing about Barry. So, since it was Oliver and Kara, I was expecting evil Flash would make sense, right? But like he said, I figured, well, since they did that with last season, that's probably why they don't want to do it again. And that's what they brought in. Kavanaugh playing, I guess, his role, playing himself from first season of Flash, right? Because it's Thawne. That was, I didn't dig that choice. Like, I love Kavanaugh, but how and why Thawne? I guess, like, I don't know.
Yeah. How is he still alive? He's died like twice now.
I think he's more than two. I think it's 2 or 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But he does that in the comics constantly too. He dies and comes back constantly. That's just part of the Reverse Flash. Why they changed the face, I don't know if they wanted to give Kavanaugh more screen time, or if the other actor, who I'm blanking on his name, wasn't available. I get why they didn't want to do an Evil Barry. He's the one character that had a reverse version of himself. It made sense to have the Reverse Flash, but Kavanaugh is so great. I didn't mind.
Kavanaugh is awesome. I agree. I love watching him play all the different Wells. Reyes says, "Thank you, Jeff. Feel the same." I think about the Thawne thing. But again, it was weird that he would take over another Harrison Wells from a different Earth. Is that what happened?
I mean,
yes.
I mean, this is supposed to be Thawne that we've always known. Somehow he's alive because he knows everything. He knew about the secret room and he knows everything.
Yeah, no, it's definitely right. Or the original Thawne that we knew, but it's just so weird. Like, I'm going to look like Harrison Wells again because he was such a handsome guy.
I guess it was just to get to Barry, and because they, production-wise, probably need to do it. It sounds like he might come back again and wear a different face. Who knows? So he might be like the Master to Doctor Who.
He says that, right? Like, what? Oh, yeah. Wonder what face I'll be in next time.
Yeah, so that's kind of different, I guess. I didn't mind his return so much necessarily. It just made something that's really, really complex, just another layer of complexity, and took away a little bit from the whole Earth X storyline, because now you have a supervillain team up with the Earth X people, kind of taking away some of the limelight, from him.
Oh, yeah, because he's obviously not originally to that Earth like the other ones are.
Yeah, so that kind of distracts a little bit from it all. Plus, how they resolved that in Part 4 was silly.
Yeah, I would have liked if they didn't want to do Barry again. I would have liked another hero being the triumvirate, like an evil hero that we know. Whoever you want to make.
Could have been
Cisco,
could have been Jesse Quick, evil Jesse Quick.
Oh my God, I would have loved that, man. No, you know what? But it would have thought he's like, now I'm the daughter.
Well, evil Wally, since he didn't get much to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
I will say though, Wally's scene in the beginning kicks ass, man. Like, he had awesome action scenes. Like, he was looked badass, which I was like, yes, they finally make Wally look good again.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I think he had it was the best part of that church fight scene was his stuff.
And then they're like, you can't go with us, Wally. I'm like, why not?
I know, again.
Because we always do that. You can't go.
Right. And then Joe and Cecile, right? And you got to get out of town. Well, because it's dangerous. Oh, like every other day in the life of us in Star Labs, and you don't go out of town then. I know that's the thing. Whenever these big crossovers, they got to come up with goofy reasons for why certain characters have to leave and not be part of it,
Yeah. It's either with Supergirl, because if she's leaving her Earth, only so many people are going to come
that was
with
easy,
her.
Yeah, just her and Alex.
Yeah, so.
But I like how they worked in Win. I wasn't expecting that. That was good.
Yeah. Well, they worked in a lot of them, because they had Jimmy. Guardian.
Oh, yeah, right in the beginning. Yeah, that was good. No, actually, they did great with the Supergirl people, I thought. They got to be really cool characters.
They just didn't get Martian Manhunter, I guess, at all.
But he's got a lot of really cool episodes this year in Supergirl, so some cool stuff. Let me just see here in the chat. We got some cool stuff going on. Let's see. Retro Outside the Box says Thawne is a living paradox as he exists out of time. He's everywhere at once. Well, I guess that's how they explain it, huh? Right? Stormy says, I don't understand Barry just letting Thawne go. It makes no sense to me.
Exactly.
Carrie says Wally should have been the final fight. Yes! Jesus Christ. How much does Wally need to train before they finally really let him be a freaking hero?
Because then while Flash is busy fighting, Reverse Flash, Wally could have been helping him out with all these
what was Wally doing? He was supposed to protect Joe and Cecile. Is that the excuse?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just whisk them off somewhere and come back. My God, it takes 2 seconds.
I know, right? Yeah, I didn't like that he just let him go. That was really dumb. It was just stupid.
But you're right. They could have made Wally the evil one. That would have been a good way to use him too.
Yeah, just it was well. I thought about that. You can't, because they're Nazis. That wouldn't work.
Oh. Well, you know what?
Unless
I know what you're saying. I know what you're
kept
saying.
That secret.
But I actually think that could have been an interesting flip on the story, Like this is maybe a world where the Nazis have, I don't know, it's not like the Aryan, but it's a different thing they want to oppress, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I know it's
Then you
tough
gotta-
if you do
Playing
that.
dangerous
gotta go
ground
there.
there. Yeah.
You are. If it's Nazis, I guess you're right. That's why I don't want it to be Nazis. I want it to be something new, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where you could have had different characters like that then.
Next year.
Next year they'll have something new. It'll be Russians. I don't know, or something. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so Reverse Flash, letting him Reverse Flash go didn't make any sense at all. Like I understand you don't want to kill him, but there's other options, you know, like knock him out, something.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's start talking about some of the like the relationship stuff, because there's a bunch of stuff going on here. Sci-Fi Pulse kind of gives me a good segue to the first one. He says, I felt the Alex and Sarah Lance fling was so obvious. I saw that coming a mile away, LOL. But that said, the stuff that happened afterwards where Sarah kind of helped Alex out worked really well. All right, let's start with the Alex and Sarah thing.
It did work. It was obvious, but it worked.
Yes.
It worked, yeah.
So, Raisa maybe, or Carrie, one of them a few weeks ago said, I think it was Carrie, said he thinks there was going to be a flirting scene with them. And I was like, God, I hope not. And Mark, you remember we were talking about how well they did the Alex and Maggie, right? How that we both said it was the best relationship that's ever been on a superhero TV show. I think you said, right? Actually,
Yeah.
Yep. I agree, and I think they handled it very well how they had ended it. And then we were saying, like, I do not want Alex to, she needs time to respect that. And then that's why when this first happened and they hooked up, I was so mad. I actually was like, I'm never fucking watching Legends again. I'm so infuriated by this. Because it was disrespectful to that relationship. I felt that they did such an amazing job doing this past 2 seasons of Supergirl. Then, as it played out more, I understood why they were doing what they were doing. Like you guys, like this chat is saying, you guys, it was a way for Alex to kind of, whatever, I guess, question her choice about Maggie, and then come to the conclusion that it was the right choice overall. I'll be honest with you, say I don't think that had to be a storyline at all. I think we already got. They broke up. I don't need her to go through that. Figure that out. Not in a crossover either. So I didn't really need any of that, but whatever. I was less infuriated by the end of it. Like I get what they were trying to do, and I think they were also trying to finally move Sarah past her. I'm going to sleep with every character I come across with in the past, and get back to maybe having a real relationship, which is what I wanted her to be. And how she was originally introduced, she was not sleeping with everybody under the sun. So if that happens, then it was actually good. If they finally get her back to trying to, have a meaningful relationship.
Yeah,
and I will say in the church fight, you mentioned Wally stuff. I honestly thought the coolest fights were the Alex and Sarah teaming up on Prometheus, all the way from the beginning where they both do the skirt split almost in unison, then tag teaming Prometheus back and forth. I just thought they worked. Their chemistry on screen worked really well. That's probably why I liked their scenes. It wasn't so much about the hookup. It's just the two actresses synced up really well on screen together.
Mm. All right, cool. Carrie says, by the way, they caught Thawne before, but taking him out of time would kill Cisco, right? Is that true? What is it we have to do with Cisco? I forget. Carrie, tell us. No, we're forgetting. There's so much stuff to keep track of. That's why we have you guys in the chat. Thank you for reminding of this stuff. All right, Alex, Sarah, done. Let's go to my favorite one, Stein and Jax. I think that was actually probably, besides the main Nazi storyline, that was like given the most time, I feel, the Stein and Jax thing. I have felt that was actually extremely well done. That was the most I was invested in this whole crossover, was that. It was really well written. It was well acted. Very emotional, particularly at the end. I think Sci-Fi Pulse said he cried. I cried at the funeral, at the scene. Mm-hmm. I really don't think they could have probably... It was a good farewell, I think. What did you guys think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Jax's best scene was actually after Martin passes away and he has to deliver the news, to his widow and, to Lily. That scene's where I started crying. It wasn't the funeral. It was that scene. That was the one where it kind of emotionally hit. But yeah, all the stuff between Martin and Jax was very, very well done. And I did not see it coming. I knew he was leaving, But I didn't think they were going to kill him. I thought they were going to leave it open to coming back somewhere in the future.
Marx?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry they killed his character off for sure. I guess it makes sense because they foreshadowed so early on that he was going to be leaving that this was a way to make a twist to that. But the scenes were really good and powerful. So that's good. I'm still disappointed that he died, though. But nice to see one of the legends just retire happily ever after. But that doesn't happen very often in TV.
You know, but it's okay when they give him like a good, when they go out like doing something noble and good, like then I feel good about it. You know,
it would have been nice if he gotten shot by a substantial character rather than some no-face Nazi guy. That would have been nice, just because it would have been more of a like.
Yeah, but I mean, the point was he gave up his life to save Jax, right? I think that was what the key
in the
was.
end, yeah.
Well, that's what I kind of focused on. In the chat, Stormy had said, going back to Alex Sarah, I did like Sarah mentioning Nyssa. I missed that couple. Yes, that was good. Bring back Nyssa. She's on another show now, too, though. Katrina Law. Racist says, I missed them, too. Sci-Fi Pulse, I was man crying before the funeral. I was over it by the time they did the funeral. Okay. Oh, he says, I only have a 30-second grieving process for television shows. All right. Stormy says, I'm not a Legends viewer, but I cried with the Stein death. He lived and died a hero. That is well said.
They gave the Legends a lot of airtime in this crossover. So
yeah. Well, thank goodness it was Stein and him. Otherwise, I would have been like, ugh. To all the Legends. Let's see.
One day we have to get you on the Legends bandwagon.
Well, you know what? Too bad you weren't here earlier. 2 episodes this season, I raved about Legends.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
The one I actually gave it a 4. Gideon, the perfect score for the ET one with Ray.
Oh yeah, perfect, great. Okay,
yeah.
That's the one I'd always tell people. If you want to see what the show's supposed to be about, some would be better than others. That's the one to watch right there. Okay.
If every episode was like that, oh my god, I'd be totally on board Legends.
Okay, good.
I would love it. All right, let's see here. Hey, let's go over to it says Iris and Felicity. Oh, I know what you mean. Sorry, I didn't put that note in. You mean with them saving the day, right?
Yeah, they had a lot of scenes together.
Right. I was thinking Iris and Perry, but yeah, let's go Iris and Felicity first. Sure.
Yeah, did you like that interaction between them? You know, whenever stuck in the facility by themselves, everybody else taken out.
Die Hard moment.
Yeah, do the Die Hard, take on some Nazis.
Do they mention? Do they make a Die Hard reference?
Yeah. Yeah, lead the way, McClane.
Oh yeah. That's right.
It was fine. I'll say this: just any scene that has Felicity in it, I'm gonna love. She's my favorite character from all 4 shows, so I'm gonna love everything she's in.
Talk about relationship stuff too, about her marriage and Felicity not wanting to get married and all that stuff too.
That was good. That was good that they got to talk about that kind of stuff, and then because we got to find out why Felicity, which is what I was assuming she was probably going to say, why she was hesitant about it. Like there was an actual, real, legitimate reason, why she was hesitant. In the chat, by the way, Retro Outside the Box says, Lily's son Ronnie gets grabbed from the future to become future Firestorm with present Jax. There's another possibility for the future Firestorm.
Yeah.
Stormy says, it was great to see 2 women with no power stand up to evil. That was cool.
Yeah.
But can I say one thing that kind of always irks me about, and not just Legends or these shows, it's all shows and all movies pretty much. Like all of the normal hench people or whatever are always so incompetent, right? Like whether it's the Nazis, right, or the stormtroopers in Star Wars. Like anybody, like you or me, Marx, you actually know a lot of martial arts, but like me, Jon-Paul, like anybody off the street could just go in and, we're going to knock these guys out, no problem. They're so idiots. They're incompetent. So technically these are supposed to be trained military people. Like try to think me taking on like a trained Green Beret or something. No, I'm going to get my ass kicked. Okay? That's what's going to happen.
Well, you should jump from the ceiling and take them by surprise then.
Aha! Thank you. I got to get into a vent, right? And then jump down from there. So I'm fine with them doing it. It's just such a I guess it's like such a cliche. Like sometimes I want to see these people actually be like kind of competent. These soldiers that are supposed to be trained.
I'm assuming they picked up a few moves over the years. They've been attacked a lot.
I mean,
would
it's
take
Nazis,
some self-defense classes.
fine. It's fine, right? Nazis are getting beat up. That's fine, but still.
To your point, you would assume because evil Ollie was trying to save his wife. He probably would have put together like an elite troop to come over. So you're right. You have a point. He should have had the best of the best come in with him. But
it's like the worst of the worst.
I don't know. Maybe just their hearts aren't in it. They've been raised as Nazis, but they never really liked being Nazis. So they would let themselves be beat up. Maybe that's how we.
Oh, all right. Maybe that's it. Sure.
Yeah.
And it's not like every movie and show does it. So it's not just this. It's like just such a trope in shows now. Listeners may says they did give Legends a lot of airtime in the crossover with some of their best stuff and carried the whole crossover. Sci-Fi Pulse says what I was saying, or any villains taking on the A-Team. Yeah, that's true. I love the A-Team. Felicity confronting Nazi Oliver to protect Kara was fantastic, says Stormy.
Oh, yeah.
Race agrees that rocked. Carrie says that was powerful. Francis, who was our guest co-host the last couple weeks, says Felicity has trained with Oliver in the past. That is true, actually. Well, a little bit. It doesn't seem like she really learns much in those sessions, but I wish they had her actually learning more. But
yeah, she should. She's an actress that trains all the time. She's preparing someday whenever they decide to make her
because do
something actiony.
In the one, where was it? Was it last year's crossover? No. When did she get to play that like one character that looked almost like Huntress but wasn't?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a Legends episode. Yeah.
Oh right, it was the Legends in the future. Was it the future one?
Yeah.
2046.
2046. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Although, so I guess she didn't even get to do too much there either, but she got to do a little bit at least with action stuff.
Before she died, yeah.
Yeah, they just killed her off real quick.
Of course, she has that chip in her spine. Maybe Mr. Terrific can just program it kind of Matrix style. Just upload all the moves into it.
Yeah. Oh my God, she's got it. She would actually have to say, "I know kung fu" if that happens.
Oh yeah.
I know all the martial arts.
You're right. There you go. That's a to Francis. That's a thing to him. Sci-Fi Paul says, "All right, that's good." He says, "What do you make of Ollie and Merlin?" Let's talk about that. Well, he means Tommy, right? Merlin, I'm sure. Yeah.
Tommy Merlin. Yeah.
I think we talked a little bit about this. I think it was great seeing Tommy back. It was cool to see Ollie get to interact with him since it's been so many years and see how much he still misses Tommy. It was like I also pretty much called it like when he was like trying to be repentant. I was like, oh, he's just pulling an act. Like he's about to, be like, you fucking idiot. Like I'm just
yeah.
But he played it well. You're right.
He
I knew he was going to switch, but he played it really well.
He did. He almost had me saying, wait, well, nah.
It would have been an amazing Prometheus of Earth 1 if they had been able to do that.
And you're right. And at that point, we still didn't know definitely that Ollie was the Fuhrer. I was really thinking it was going to turn out to be his dad. That would have been a perfect way to bring back,
Oh, yeah.
the better
John Barrowman.
Merlin. Yeah, John Barrowman.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Barrowman wants to be done with this for a while. At least he should.
Yeah.
Francis says, I wish Tommy was around longer. You bring the dude back just to have a couple of scenes. Earlier, I know you weren't here, Francis, but Marx had said he had to go, he flew in, did that scene, and had to go fly back to the other show he's on, right, Marx?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I think that was the actor's... He really had to, I guess, change his schedule just to be able to do that one scene, so...
yeah.
Otherwise, they probably would have worked him in more.
That's probably why he couldn't be Prometheus last year.
Yeah. Sci-Fi says, I think Felicity is preparing to be a supervillain, so she doesn't need the train because she does not want to appear too confident as to live up to the cliche. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they are doing that, but I think that could be cool if Felicity was turned into a villain, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see evil Felicity sometime. Yeah.
Listeners may says, do you like the actor who played the minister? He's talking about William Catt, who Marx told us last week was going to be playing the minister. He looked much different than when he was younger playing the greatest American hero. I thought that was great that he was the minister. It was so like
now he's ashes.
I know it was traumatizing. Though. I was like, oh my God, they disintegrated him. He should have been wearing the suit.
Too soon.
Yeah.
He didn't get to say any cool lines. Nothing to. If you didn't recognize him or know. You missed it.
I know. I totally wanted him to say something, believe it or not, at some point in the thing.
Believe it or not, I haven't actually known these people before.
I really want to say believe it or not, you're married, but... All right, let's... who else we got here? All right, well, let's go Barry Iris. That's obviously a big thing. I mean, the whole thing starts off with their wedding, right? So what did you think of the whole Barry Iris storyline in this?
Yeah, it's good. I like how there was a natural way to get all the characters together by having the wedding. So it's very classic superhero wedding where things go wrong.
They always do that.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Made it very memorable. I'm sorry. I wish. I mean, we're going to talk about it later, but the ending was still very good. But it was kind of a shame they couldn't do the I do's, at the wedding itself because those Nazis.
Yeah, they ruin everything.
Yeah, no, they seem very natural together. You could tell they've been working together for quite a while. Just in the church fight, right as the action's about to begin, they bend down at the front, kind of kneel down next to each other. They I love you back and forth. Be safe. They trust each other. They wanted to make sure to say one last comment and then each do their own thing. And it didn't come across as cheesy. It came across as very believable for characters that have known each other and been in these situations. Much better than we're both Flash or whatever it was.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. She said we're the Flash or something, right?
We're the Flash. Yeah. That one came across a little cheesy. I didn't mind the sentiment. It just didn't come across as strong as this one. In this one, I believe those two characters were getting married right then. It worked.
Sweet. Francis says, I actually wondered this myself. Why wasn't Ray Palmer invited to the wedding? Yeah, because I know why some of the legends are new, right? And they don't know those people. So I get why they're Zari and Vixen and stuff. But they know Ray as much as they know Sarah and Jax, right?
I think the world still thinks he's dead, maybe.
They just, again, this is just the thing about, well, we don't want him to come in until part 4 of the episode, so.
Yeah.
He made a good entrance, though. Maybe he was there. He was just shrunk. We don't know. He's hiding.
Licious Mate says, Francis says, did you talk about Joe's weird speech about his kids getting married? We have not. So, I don't know. I mean, the speech overall I think was good. The sentiment was very nice, obviously. I do gotta say, when he said about my kids getting married, I was like, oh, it's so weird. Your kids are getting married to each other. Yeah. And I know not everybody, I think, Mark, you think it's fine. But I know Cammy and me, Cammy's been on the show from Arrow Squad. We think it's still a little weird that two brothers and sisters who are getting married a little bit. I'm fine with it. I get it. But they're not really related. But still, they grew up that way.
It comes across a little creepy at times. Just a bit.
Just a little bit,
I try to ignore it.
Yeah.
They've always known each other they knew each other originally as
friends.
Parents are friends and stuff like that. Yeah. So before he moved in, that helps a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Lister's Mate says they didn't explain the interdimensional mailing system through how did Kara get the letter about the letter from Barry's Earth? Joking, he says. What I do like though is that it was the day before the wedding. These people they were all doing the different scenes, right? They were introducing all the different people.
Yeah.
And Felicity was like, she checked off the thing. Why are you checking it off? You're gonna mail it overnight or something? How are they going to receive it? It's the next day.
They have ways.
Just tell them you're coming.
Flash just runs by and grabs it all.
Just text them. Yeah. Okay. Well, that could be true.
That works.
All right. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Cisco. For Supergirl at least, getting the thing over to her. So, who conveniently got put into a mini coma whenever they could really use that power.
Right. Yeah. It's funny how so many people go into comas, right? Just when you need them the most.
I know. They gotta have some brain damage.
Sci-Fi Pulse. This is about the Barry and Iris being kind of growing up as brother and sister. It's fucked up. I never married my sister. It took me years to get her married off to the dude she is with. Jeez. I'll leave it to Ian to have some great comments in the chat. All right. All right, that's Barry Iris. Let's talk Oliver Felicity, or Olicity, if you prefer.
It's a done deal now.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, so I guess. So fortunately, I've come around more to Felicity this season. I think you have too, Marks, right?
Yeah, they did a good job this
season. So I was actually okay. I'm okay with them getting married. People who hate Felicity, I'm sure, are not filled with that at all.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people out there who are just, I don't know. There's I guess a Reddit channel that changed from an Arrow-centric one to a Punisher one, and they've done that a couple different times.
Oh, because of Felicity.
And then they come back. Yeah, then they come back. But it seemed natural. It seemed like a natural progression. Just worked. I mean, like you said, even y'all, if y'all didn't like it before and it was okay now, it's been such a natural, gradual progression from last season to this one. It just felt like, okay, that it makes sense right now.
It does. They did it the right way. They slowly build it up, and it makes sense. And again, you know, at first you might say, "Oh, well, that's messed up. She's saying no to him." But again, I get the reasoning. She's worried about because it's happened before, and that she doesn't want anything to happen to him, you know, in the relationship. So it made sense where she was coming from. And then it all works out. Oh wait, I'm sorry. So before we get to that though, let me go back. In the wedding scene at the beginning, there's some like server or waitress, a young woman, talking to Barry. What was the deal with that? It was like in a prolonged scene. Oh. So is this somebody I should know who this is? She almost came out like she was a super fan of Barry, or she knows him somehow.
She's either
it's put in there just for people like myself or Marx, if he knows the story as well, and for anybody else, oh well, just enjoy the scene. Or she's coming back, and hopefully because they cast an actress of some name, she's coming back.
Coming back.
Yeah, it's who? Jenny. Jenny Ognetz is got to be who it is. She's XS from the Legion of Superheroes in the future. She's Barry and Iris's granddaughter. She's also, I don't know if it's granddaughter, but something like that of the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne. Kind of a neat little twist in there. But if you look up a picture of XS, the letter X, the letter S, and the actress from that show, it's exact. It's like they created a character based on that actress's look.
So perfect. Jenny Ogden is her name?
Ognetz, I believe it is.
And she's
something like that.
You're saying she's the granddaughter of Barry and Iris?
Yeah. It's a long story.
But she has something to do with the Legion as well?
Yeah.
But she's not obviously... Okay, so she's traveling through time, is what you're saying.
She's traveling through time. The 5-second version in the pre-crisis Earth, Iris is really from the future, and Barry got to retire happily ever after before he died in Crisis, and fathered kids who later fathered kids, and she came out of that. That's why she's in the future, 1,000 years in the future instead of just a couple generations. It's a really long story. But,
well, that makes perfect
sense. It's good. It's good timing because she has Legion ties, and we have Legion popping up over at Supergirl.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense why she was so interested in Barry then, and so kind of happy around him. That totally makes sense. Then it's her grandfather.
Yeah. And a lot of people are saying that it could be Dawn. Barry and Iris have twins, Don and Dawn Allen, and a lot of names. I know. A lot of people are saying it could be Dawn or Jenny. Well, first of all, she looks identical to Jenny from the comics, but also in her little interchange there with Barry, one of the phrases she says, and I went back and watched it like 10 times. I mean, the Legion, it's just the Legion for me. That's the thing. And one of the phrases, she there's a pause, and she says, "I'm just so excited," and she puts an emphasis on excited.
Yeah. Okay.
And with the word "I'm excited."
Yeah.
It's I'm XS. I mean, to me, that was the giveaway for the fans that know it. And if you don't, just watch the scene and enjoy it and move on.
Who is the Mark? Do you have it up? Who's the actress who played her in the phrases?
Oh, the actress. It's I don't have it up, but it's something Kennedy. She was in a Secret Circle or big something she's well known for.
Okay, but you think they're gonna have her come back?
Got to.
Yeah, I know they're gonna have her come back because the producer said that she will be back.
Good.
Oh,
good.
All right, cool. Awesome. All right, thank you. That makes much more sense now. why they focus on that scene so much.
Well, they could. Well, I would say they could also blend it. She had a cousin, Bart, who was sent back to the present time. Impulse, who was sent back to the present, to our present, to learn from Wally and Barry and Jay Garrick and such to learn how to use his powers. It could be they just forget about Bart and just have her be the one sent back to learn how to use her powers. That might work.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. They're just going to kind of merge those together. They do that sometimes. So
yeah,
that's actually in Smallville. That's what they used. It was Bart Allen. That's the character they used. Impulse.
Yep.
I think mainly just because they couldn't get the rights to the Flash though at that time in Smallville. In the chat, Francis says, I was kind of a fan of the evil Ollie, evil Kara business. I think it's in Stephen Amell's contract to kiss as many women in the Arrowverse as possible.
It's tough.
Actually, we never talked about that really. Did you kind of like that they had Kara and Oliver and the evil versions kind of together and he was trying to save her? Or... I mean, it gave obviously some, they're trying to, I think, put something behind their character where you weren't just hating them, right? So
yeah. That's good that they were trying to do that. And I liked Supergirl's reaction. She's like, ooh, gross. No offense.
It was worth it for that alone, yeah. It was great.
Yeah, that was funny.
Lister's Mate says, I think Felicity asking Oliver to marry her during Iris and Barry's wedding was kind of selfish. It's stealing the groom bride big day for someone to propose, much less get married during the ceremony. I see your point for sure, but since it was such a kind of at this ad hoc thing in the middle of the park out of nowhere, right? I thought it was okay because it wasn't like during the church ceremony, and they already ruined the rehearsal dinner too.
Yeah.
Well, mainly because Felicity blurted it out so much. Oliver's trying to be low key about it, but
yeah, I was at first kind of like, well, I don't know if this is the right time for that, but it works. It worked out well. It was touching to have both of them it bonds them together too. Both shows and those characters a little closer. Like, we got married on the same day kind of deal.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the dual wedding. Oh, sorry. Did you have something else to add?
Oh, one thing. The actress is named Jessica Parker Kennedy. In case you
wait. I know that name. What else has she been in?
She's been in Black Sails. You might
know Black Sails. Yes. I love Black Sails. I watch all of that. I know. Okay.
Max. Seems like she's been in all of it. So.
She is Max in Black Sails, isn't she? Oh my God, she looked totally different in this. I did not place her at all. Holy shit!
She does look very different in her pictures. Yeah.
Oh my God, seriously, I would not have guessed that. I did not recognize her at all. I gotta go back and watch that episode. I mean, that part of the crossover again. Wow. All right, cool. She's good then, man, because in Black Sail she has more or less a French accent, I guess, and obviously here's basically totally American in this.
Yeah.
Just hyper excited. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, she was.
From a future with really weird names.
Yes.
Well, Jenny's a normal name, though. That's her name.
Well, their last names. Agna and then
Thawne. Thawne's a
weird
name. Eobard Thawne. That's a weird name.
Yeah.
Wait, doesn't somebody joke about this in the crossover? Earbard?
Yeah, somebody did. Was it Felicity or who did that?
Maybe Felicity. All right, let's talk about the dual weddings at the end. I thought it was actually, that's probably my second favorite moment after the Stein stuff. I thought it was very sweet. It was a nice way to end the crossover. I liked a lot that they brought Diggle in, so he got actually to be in the crossover.
He threw up.
Right. Well, that's a running joke, and I like that they still do that. Yeah, it was cool, and the vows were very nice. And it was nice that he got to marry Oliver and Felicity, I don't know. What do you guys think?
He's the one character made sense that he wasn't there because he's still struggling with that nerve damage, too. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it worked out really well.
Yeah, gave him a happily ever after. If you just want to pop in, watch this movie, and be done with it, happily ever after the end.
We needed it after the downer of the death, Then this was a nice way to rise it back up and end it on a good note.
Although I do wonder if there'll be any significance to the fact that Barry and Felicity said "I do." Ollie and Felicity said "I do." Barry and Iris did not say "I do," and Jenny in that earlier scene said, "Don't forget to say I do."
What did they say? They just say their vows and then they.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Felicity interrupts.
Yeah.
Oh, Felicity, man, come on.
So who said "I do"?
Oliver and Felicity, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Only them?
Because Felicity jumped in and said, "Oh, marry me," before they could say "I do." I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it won't. Is the "I do" though? Is that? I know everybody says it, but does it have to be said to make it official? Probably not, really, right?
Probably not.
As long as he says, "I pronounce you husband and wives or whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Husbands and wives, or I don't know.
Are they all getting married, all four together?
In the chat, Sci-Fi Paul says, we haven't talked about this yet much. I really liked how they did the Ray, and for those who didn't know, Russell Tovey, who plays the Ray, played the werewolf in the original UK version of Being Human, also guested on Doctor Who.
Yeah, that was good.
The Ray was cool.
Great job.
Yeah, the Ray was cool.
Yeah, Ray was interesting. Ray and Cold's relationship. We didn't get a whole lot of Ray. There's supposed to be an animated movie or web series that's going to have the Freedom Fighters and Ray. I'm assuming it's all before this. So we might get some backstory to explain some stuff, maybe, because they just killed like all the main bad guys. So I don't see who they're going to be fighting. So I don't know. That'll be interesting to see if that helps explain some of this backstory. And it's really weird. It's not already released. I think there something must have happened to delay it because it's really weird timing.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to come in. At this point, I think it's supposed to come in January. But they do still have an entire world full of Nazis. So, I mean, they still got a lot of people to fight.
That's true. Quentin's still around, right? The evil Quentin.
Well, hopefully he's not that tough. He was quite smart. Was he in the basement of Blue? Well, yeah, maybe he wasn't there, right? We don't know, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I guess their device is still around, right? They didn't blow up the facility, so.
Oh yeah. So we don't know.
I never did understand why the sky was red either. That was kind of weird.
It was a crisis.
Yeah.
You gotta have red skies with a crisis. So red sky crossover became a thing, and maybe this was just their nod to that. I don't know, but I liked it. It was a crisis and had red skies. It works. I don't know.
Well, didn't the newspaper of the future didn't it have a red sky whenever Flash supposedly disappears in the future because of a crisis, right?
Yeah.
So I hope they do another crisis. I hope they do a Crisis of Infinite Earths version someday soon down the road. That would be pretty awesome.
See, my thing is, like, this is why I stopped after a while, like, in the comics. I stopped reading all those huge crossovers they would do, like, every year. Well, that's what I got to seem like every year they were doing them.
Yeah, they do pretty much anymore.
And, yeah. I mean, I get they do them. It's the same thing why these shows do them, right? Because they bring in... Well, these bring in the ratings. The comics, they know people buy them. They're trying to, they sell, right? Those never, like Civil War did. I mentioned this. I think Civil War is one of the best storylines ever that have been done in comics. That one worked. One reason I think that worked is that was about a real social issue and something like really interesting to talk about and explore. And they did that very well. But most of these, particularly a lot of the DC ones, unfortunately, in the comics, they just throw like every superhero and villain in the planet all together, and there's just big battles, and I don't care. There's no story really, and I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. I just stopped reading them, and this is part of the problem here. Even though they did try to take the time with the individual characters, I still much prefer when they just do single crossovers, like when one character, right, when Kara goes over the Flash, or Arrow will go over to whatever, and just one or two characters. I just think I've so much more enjoyed those, and they can just focus on those characters instead of trying to. It's so hard when you're trying to work everybody in together, and I don't know, that never works as well for me. And I actually wish they would stop doing these crossovers, these 4-part. They're not going to, because they're the biggest ratings of the year for them, so they're absolutely not going to do it.
Yeah, they call it the Super Bowl on CW for their ratings. But that's the thing. They're doing it for ratings. They're not like, we need to do a crossover because we have this amazing story we're so passionate about telling. I think they're just we got to do it because it brings in our best ratings of the year. Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, they do a good job doing things that you see in comic books, but one of the things that is bad in comic books is when you do the crossovers too much and it starts dictating the plot flow of all the other stories. Because would Oliver put the suit back on this soon in the storyline if the crossover wasn't happening? Would they have did more of that storyline with a different Arrow, or were they forced to have to put him in that costume that soon because of this crossover? That kind of stuff can get in can affect stuff. With that said, they've done a good job having these relationship be storylines that actually bleed into the crossovers. So I do appreciate they're doing that. So there's some more depth to it. So I think they just what they need to do next time when they do one is just interweave better villains and maybe even foreshadow some of it in advance before the crossover, so it seems to build up to something more. Does that make sense?
It does.
You just want to be careful because usually, like you said, the ratings are so much higher on this. You're going to bring in so many people who only watch this. You know, the people who go see Justice League at the theaters, the people who pop in for one episode. You don't want to have so much you have to know. If they can do it carefully, build a backstory for the regular watchers, and then make it as clean as possible for the new people. I agree. I think they should not try to top this one. This one was so many people, and it worked really well. But don't try to top it. I'd rewind a little bit and go with something like Identity Crisis. Don't do Identity. Now, don't do Identity Crisis. No, yeah, you'd have to do, inspired by, because you don't have Superman and Batman and such. But pick a handful of these characters and do a murder mystery around them. So even us who know Identity Crisis go in not knowing who the murderer is or anything like that. That would work really well. I think that's smaller. Idea. Yeah, that's smaller, but still has a good number of people, a good crossover around it.
That's a really smart
That would be
idea.
a good change of pace for the next one they do. But I would still like to see a Crisis of Infinite Earths someday down the road. Just someday.
All right. I love the identity because I actually like the Identity Crisis a lot, but also just the idea of the murder mystery is really smart. I think that's a cool idea.
Another one would be good is if they eventually do a true Legion of Doom, and that's the storyline. They bring together some of the best.
Please, not that fake Legion of Doom last year.
Well, they were so much fun, though.
No, but it's not the Legion of Doom.
I know what you mean. Do the Injustice League instead of Legion of Doom. Do the Injustice League,
or that, yeah.
It'd be fun. Either whatever you want to call them, it'd be fun. In a different type of fun.
Yeah. Any, by the way, folks, I think we might have gone off air for a few seconds. I think we should be all good to go, though. Sorry about that if that happened. So anyway, any last things here? Anything we didn't mention you guys want to bring up? Anything that was good or not so good? Or
I mean, I didn't understand the Nazi version of the Wave Rider ship. I didn't understand that connection to how they had their version of that ship. So there's something in the backstory I would have liked to have had to explain that. Maybe there was a Legends team that came back and they all got killed by Dark Arrow. I don't know. That would have been nice because it just seemed kind of random, and it seemed like they did it just because they wanted the two Wave Riders to fight.
That's why. Well, I was going to say maybe that's why the Nazis won on that Earth. Maybe that version of the Legends screwed up time. And the Nazis won.
Oh, I could believe that. Yeah,
I could totally believe it. That's what happened.
It would work. Yeah.
And then one thing, story flow wise, I didn't understand. I thought was kind of weird was whenever they capture a bunch of them, take them to a prison camp on their Earth. I don't know how complicated it is because I never understood what their base of operation was on Earth 1. But and then just to put those necklace things on and all that stuff. Just to then go take them out to go shoot them. And I was like, what? Why did you go that? That's a lot of effort just to kill them right off the bat. So that was kind of weird. I know it's because they wanted to show the camp and stuff, but I think they could have explained that a little bit differently.
Yeah, I think that was Quentin going off book. Evil Quentin.
It might have been
what he's supposed to be.
Might have been. It would have made more sense if like a couple of them try to fight back and then they knock him down. And he's like, I don't care, Fura said I could, whatever, and if they just happen to die, oh well, and maybe something like that would have made it pay off. Because otherwise, I was sitting there going, why did they go to all this trouble? Just didn't have some henchmen people kill them. It's just they were back there. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Let me in the chat here. Francis says, I think this particular crossover actually did a good job of getting character beats in with Sarah Alex, Stein Jax, and even Roy Leo. It did. I agree. Much better than I think last year's one. It did. That was definitely a deliberate effort on their part to do that. Lister's Mate says, for more crossovers, they should be showing more Earth 1 characters meeting doppelgangers of themselves. Okay, so he liked the doppelganger thing. I mean, that's always fun. The parallel Earth versions. Yeah. Francis says, Evil Quentin and his weird accent.
I thought they did a good job.
He did. I thought he did, yeah.
I hope Evil Quentin's still alive and comes back at some point, because they'd just be neat. He joins up with Black Siren.
Oh, jeez.
That would work.
Yikes,
Just like, this is the dad I've always wanted.
Oh,
It's
boy,
great.
yeah. What,
I'll say some of the stuff I love, just some of those little moments. The general, you care to step outside. When Supergirl did that, there was the callback to Christopher Reeve doing it with General Zod.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great little moment. We already talked about the embiggens when Adam enlarges his hand. Every little scene with Mick. I mean, Mick was just great. Mick wearing a dress in Martin Stein's house. Just all those little bitty moments. The Atom riding the T-Sphere in the battle. There's so many little moments that only take 2 or 3 seconds on screen, but just added up to such wonderful memories. And it made the whole thing. It made me overlook some of the bigger holes in the story.
Yeah. I mean, this was way more complex and intricate, with lots of different storylines going on than the last crossover. Like, it's 10 times more massive, what they did. Mm-hmm. And that's why they're going to have plot holes like that a little bit, because they got so many moving parts going on, and they got to do it fast. I think it took them. All those actors pretty much, or not all of them, but a lot of them had to pretty much take 6 weeks just to film those 4 parts to get that done out of their production schedule. So
it was worth it. It was worth it.
I see one last thing you put here, Mark. You said the Man of Steel catch. Is that something you didn't like, or?
Oh, I didn't get it. I feel like there must have been an editing error or something there. Like when Man of Steel,
when Steel catches Kara, right?
Yeah, and he's like, I figured it'd take a Man of Steel to catch the girl of Steel with a lot of help. And I was like, with a lot of help? What do you mean a lot of help? And it also didn't make any sense that you just caught her like 2 feet from the ground. That made a big difference. So I feel like there was something there that I either missed or got cut out in an accident or something. Because like maybe she got thrown up there and grabs her, and then he takes the impact by landing, or I don't know. Did you guys?
If he'd said luck instead, that would have made more sense. Just that one word change.
Oh, maybe that's what he meant to say. I was just kind of thrown by it because it was like, I feel like maybe I missed something. Maybe something got cut editing.
Yeah, I didn't like it really at all, because I'm like, why does he have to catch Supergirl? Number one, you're not the Man of Steel. That's Superman. Superman is going to kick your ass for stealing his freaking moniker. So like, the fact that he can even compare himself to the Man of Steel, because that guy is not that amazing.
He hasn't met Superman. He's not from that Earth.
He knows what. Wait a minute.
He's not from that Earth.
What
Earth.
What Earth is he from? He's not from Earth
1.
Oh, he's from Earth 1. Oh, so he doesn't know, I guess.
And his name is Citizen Steel, so he's got Steel in his name.
I know. I don't want to hear him referred as Man of Steel.
I hope Superman actually gets in one of these crossovers though, because that would be awesome.
That's the thing. If you're gonna put him in, you might as well put him in the crossover.
Yeah, I hope they do someday. They should do at some point. Legion, Doom, and Justice League, whatever you want to call them. Bring in Lex Luthor, breaks out, puts together a bunch of Gorilla Grodd and whoever else, and Superman joins up with them to fight him or something. That would be pretty awesome.
In the chat, Francis says, this may be the poor man's Justice League, but yet better than the actual Justice League. If you mean the movie, sir, well, Francis didn't like it as much when he gives it, but I know you missed my review, Francis. I actually loved it. So the real Justice League is much better than this poor man's Justice League, I think. But, although
they only had one villain. Was Steppenwolf?
Okay, please. Steppenwolf compared to...
Is he it's like my axe. I love my axe. Yeah, I don't want it to break.
Okay, I mean, compared to evil Kara is tough, yes. Evil Oliver compared to Steppenwolf, please. What is he going to do? Shoot an arrow at Steppenwolf? Oh, no. Shoot my boxing glove arrow at you.
Yeah, don't mock the boxing glove arrow,
Oh, that's how we do our ratings. You know I love the boxing glove arrow. But Arrow doesn't stand a chance against Steppenwolf. I'm sorry.
Well, no. As much of a chance as Batman... technically.
Well, Batman's not taking out Steppenwolf without the Justice League with him either.
Well, yeah.
It takes the whole Justice League to go against them. And then...
Oh, and I like the nod, real quick, the nod back to the crossover from last season when she fought the Dominator. He's like, that's so last year. Oh, and also the musical crossover, because she sang the song that was the big original
I
song
like that
they
she
wrote.
sang. Yes, that was a very nice song.
And that was from that crossover. That song was. So.
Wait, the song was from the crossover?
It was one of
the
original song they made for it. It's the one that Barry sang to Iris at the end.
Oh yeah. That's cool. That's good. Oh, it makes more sense than the Super Friends song. Even though that was my favorite from the musical.
Oh, and I love the fact that they redeemed Red Tornado. They got rid of the memory of the horrible Red Tornado they did on Supergirl and gave us the real Red Tornado in this. That was great. See,
it was cool to see him
visually
back.
he was perfect.
Yeah.
Because they destroyed him.
Well, yeah, but at least if you're going to destroy him, at least we wiped out the old memories of that horrible styrofoam suit or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll see another Red Tornado. Hopefully it won't get destroyed. But yeah, it was cool to see Red Tornado. It was a nice surprise. Especially since it was from the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of guy.
Francis says, "Oh, I'm sad I missed the review. I'll have to listen to it later." Yes, please go back. Jon-Paul and I shared our thoughts on Justice League. And Francis also says, the team would be too overpowered with Supergirl and Superman. That's just not fair. I mean, yes, they would be very superpowered, but I mean, just one of them alone is really overpowered, right? So
maybe they got one big bad they have to fight. They got to fight Darkseid over here.
Yeah.
Everybody else takes on the other guys. That's what it is.
And
Sci-Fi Crisis.
To what?
Or do Crisis, the Crisis, and have them fight the Anti-Monitor. There you go.
I know. I would love to see that live action.
Sci-Fi says, I still want to see a 3-part episode with Arrow and Green Lantern, which can be loosely based on the comic that Denny O'Neil did. Yeah, he really just wants Green Lantern and Arrow so bad. Like, he brings this up all the time. And I'm sorry, I don't think we're ever going to see it, though. So
never say never.
Yeah, you know.
Forever.
That's true.
It would be expensive, though, to do.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of it.
Francis says, more Marvel references in DC TV. Okay, 3rd week in a row, by the way. He's totally right. 3rd week in a row they made a Marvel reference on the shows.
Yeah. Oh, the Spider-Man reference.
Like, was it this time? It was what? Spidey sense, right?
Because Stein was going to give him powers of a. Was it a fly?
Oh, yes.
Whatever it was.
Wait, that was one of the best lines. Oh, I'll be the spectacular sticky man. Great.
Yeah.
Which is great because Spectacular Spider-Man was one of the comics I used to read as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, like, how they're deliberately doing it every week now.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Whatever.
It's cool.
They've always had a friendly rivalry. That's just part of it.
Maybe they're trying to convince Marvel to do a crossover, like somebody said that last week, right, Marx? So
I would love that. That'd be awesome. Maybe they'll do it. Warner Brothers like, oh, we need to raise up our box office after that last movie. Let's do a crossover. Justice League versus Avengers. Which Justice League would be very powerful against them.
Yeah.
Oh, Justice League's winning.
I don't know. Thor and Hulk. Hulk's pretty tough.
Okay, you're right. You got Thor and Hulk, but then you got Superman and Wonder Woman to counter them. And for my money, Superman and Wonder Woman are going to win.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Nobody.
Captain America versus Batman, maybe?
Yeah. Probably, yeah.
Flash versus... Well, Quicksilver's dead, right? In that MCU version?
Yeah. So who would fight Flash?
Or Cyborg. Who would fight them?
Iron Man versus Cyborg.
Iron Man versus Cyborg. Yeah. That's good.
Flash. I don't know. I guess I don't know.
See, that's why Justice League's gonna win, though. Flash.
The Scarlet Witch's hexes and stuff might count.
Yeah. Okay, that could be true.
Yeah. She's like, my brother used to be fast. I can do that.
Oh,
fought with him all the time.
Lister's Mate says Ant-Man versus the Atom. That would make sense.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Who's gonna take on Aquaman?
Namor.
Nobody can swim as well.
Yeah, if we don't have Namor in the movies yet, but yeah, that would obviously be.
Namor is pretty tough dude, I have to say.
It's fun. If neither of y'all ever read the DC versus Marvel miniseries they did back a decade or two ago, it was fun. Aquaman just summons a whale to land on Namor and wins and things like that.
That's right, because Namor can't actually control marine life, right? Or communicate.
Right.
Yeah, he can fly and he's super strong.
Yeah, Aquaman's better. because all I remember his name is that isn't he always obsessed with Sue Storm and
Yeah.
romance? Like he always wants to romance her away from Reed. I'm like, what an asshole! Get the hell out of here, Namor.
Yeah, he's been a bad guy off and on. So he has a
bad attitude, I think.
He's got bad attitude.
Well, Aquaman the versions of Aquaman also are kind of a very, Earth land dwellers are crappy, right? And like the Justice League cartoon version, he's like, I just want to be in the sea. Even this Aquaman kind of, right, just wants to. But he's nice though. He's saving like people. That's very good. It's nice of him.
Yeah, they apparently they filmed a lot. The extra scenes they filmed, some of those were people getting saved. They made sure to add in scenes of people getting saved. So.
Oh yeah, no. I know some people already complained about, which is legitimate, Man of Steel, where they're like destroying the cities and people are dying.
Oops.
But yeah, this one, like these guys are, they're true heroes. It's all about trying to save civilians and stuff.
Hopefully
that's classic DC.
Yeah, hopefully we get the 3-hour cut of Justice League when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, do you think they there was a lot they had to chop out?
Oh yeah. Supposedly back in March or April there was the original cut shown to the executives was like 2 or 3 minutes shy of 3 hours, and this one was like 2 or 3 minutes shy of 2 hours. So
yeah, I was surprised it was only 2 hours actually, because a lot of these movies have been going longer. But well, Batman v Superman, they released an extended cut of that. That was probably right, like over 3 hours or about 3 hours.
Yeah, like that.
I'll totally watch a 3-hour cut of this, man. I would watch that.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see I'm interested to see what they cut out.
I'm just gonna wait for that. Then I'll.
No, watch this one because this one's probably paced better. There's usually reasons they cut things out, actually.
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
Listeners may also want to see Solomon Grundy versus the Hulk. That could be interesting as well.
I think Hulk would win.
Yeah, I don't think Grundy can really go up against Hulk, but
look, he's that strong. He wouldn't die.
That's true. Hulk would just get so frustrated that he can't kill him.
He just keeps coming back.
All right. I think that's everything, right? Oh, I guess, you know what? Why don't we... I just saw it. Did you put this in Mark's rating out of Earth? How many Earths we're going to give it out of 52?
Yeah, let's give it a...
Okay, so that's a great idea. We usually give it a 4-star system, like 4 boxing glove arrows or 4 lightning bolts. So we're going to give it a rating, how many Earths, a maximum of 52 Earths.
Yeah, well, we don't like Earth 53. Come on.
No. We definitely don't like that. Okay, folks, that's how you're going to rate it. So 52 Earths is the max rating, right?
Yeah.
So 26 Earths, I guess, would be mediocre then, right? Or right in the middle?
Yeah, right in the middle, yeah.
Okay. Wow, this is so much harder than a 4-star, 10-star system. Well, you're going to go first since you came up with this. I got to think about this.
Oh, I got to go first. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, you came up with a system of rating.
Yeah, totally fair.
I would give it... so I'd probably give it like 48 Earths. It's just a little shy.
That's really high, actually.
Pretty high, yeah. But it's not. That would be like like equivalent of a 3.75 or something. So, yeah, I think that's fair because there's a lot of work they did in this, and they blended it all together really seamlessly. Even though I have problems with some logic stuff, they did a lot of character work in it with all those arcs we're talking about, and it's real tempting to just do like a big story and just fight, and that's it, and no character development. But they did a good job developing characters.
All right, in the chat, Race also gives it 48 out of 52. Francis gives it 50 out of 52, very high rating.
Ooh.
Jon-Paul, what do you give it?
If Barry had not let Reverse Flash go, that's the only part that was, to me, the drawback. If he had not let him go, or if he'd escaped on his own, it would have been a perfect 52. So I'm gonna have to give it a 51.
Oh my God! Wow, 51.
just for that one thing. That's the one point.
All right. Well, my ratings would seem really low. So I use my handy calculator here on my phone to do like between 70 and 75% of 52, because that actually 3 out of 4 stars is actually 75%. Even though we consider that a good rating usually, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go 37 Earths out of 52. That's between 70 and 75%.
Okay.
Again,
That's fair.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. The main storyline, I wish they did something different. It didn't thrill me. But they did some good character stuff. And
Yeah, yeah.
It was seeing like Win and some other people, and like Jimmy. It was nice seeing some different versions of their characters that were cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, a lot more complex than last season's crossover for sure. So.
Yeah.
And more seamless. That was the thing. It was
Yeah.
just so much more seamless with one title card for the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it plays as I think somebody said if you take all the commercials and stuff out,
It's a movie,
2 hour
right?
and 46-minute movie or something. Yeah, it's just shy of 3 hour movie.
That's a big accomplishment with all those writers involved.
That's true. No, I mean production-wise, yes, that's a huge accomplishment. I did like the intro, how they worked in each logo and music score, like from each one. That was really cool. I also like that they did it over 2 nights and 2 episodes per night rather than all 4.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was a better way to do a crossover like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
That's
watched
good.
it live. Usually I don't, but this.
Have we seen what the ratings came out as?
I know I saw like Supergirl and Arrow were the first night. Those were they'll hit season highs. They said. I don't know what they.
Good.
I didn't read about the other 2.
They said similar to last year. I bet it was slightly higher because, like you said, it was crammed into the 2 nights. Arrow was the highest, Legends was the lowest, but that's because it still showed up on your TV guide for DVR and everything else as Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, and Legends. I think if it had just been one title across all of it, it would probably been equal ratings across them. But yeah, it was still about like I said, about like last year, maybe a little
Because
higher.
Jeff keeps bad mouthing Legends. That's what it is. It's all his fault.
Yeah, right. It's only me, dude. I'm telling you, it's like last year. That's Legends is. It's just Legends is the lowest rating. I can't affect the ratings. That's just the way it is. Legends is the lowest rated show, man.
I know.
It is.
There's reasons. This has been a good
This is
season.
what I'm telling you. So you think yeah, but still, I'm telling you, people like the other shows better, and there's reasons for it.
Yeah.
Carrie gives it 48. It's more if we got more Wally. Hell, he and Joe missed the actual wedding. Yeah, actually, everybody missed the wedding. They're gonna be like, "Well, so guys, we were married. Sorry, you're gonna be there."
Yeah.
But we didn't want any more Nazis to show up and ruin it. Sci-Fi Pulse gives it 48.5. Listeners Mate gives it 42. All right, that's pretty good scores across the board, though.
Yeah.
Well, definitely enjoyed it.
Now we got the mid-season finales next week.
I know it seems so quick now, right? We're already at mid-season finales. Weird though because we're only at episode 9, which is not at all. It's not actually all mid-season. Like we still have 14 episodes to go after this.
Yeah, it's kind
But they always do it before the holidays. That's how they always take their break.
And then we'll get Black Lightning.
Yeah, I'm excited. Mid-January, January 16th, I think.
All the promos were really cool during this.
I'm excited for that one. I don't get this though. I remember reading one of the producers of one of these shows saying, or one of the CW execs, we only want to have 4 superhero shows on the air at any one time. So I assumed Legends was going to end and then Black Lightning, but Legends has 19 episodes or 18 episodes. 18 episodes, I think, this year. Like it can't not be running at the same time. I don't know what's going on.
It does not return as early. Black Lightning takes its spot, but it comes back a little bit later, and I have no idea because they haven't announced what time slot it's going to be. But Legends ratings were up last year. It's still the lowest, but its ratings were still really good. So they extended it a little more.
I know I was looking at IMDb. Black Lightning is only doing 13 episodes because they're doing like a half season. So they're going straight through. They're taking no breaks. They're going January through April. So I was thinking maybe Legends will come back, but in April there's still too many episodes to be done by May.
Well, right now everybody's in sync, which is a little unusual. So some of the other shows might, take some time off or something. I don't know. It would be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. These 4 though are all taking 5 weeks off and coming back mid-January, at least from what I read, and that's when Black Lightning debuts as well. No, but Legends. Are you saying Legends might take more of a break though, right?
Yeah, because Black Lightning, I think, I believe it's taking its time slot.
That's what I thought. I thought it was going to take its time slot. Yeah.
But
They
what
might
they do with
whenever
Legends, I don't know.
when Legends comes back, they might move it back. They might move it back to the Tuesday night where it was for the crossover. Maybe I don't know.
Or Valor. I don't think Valor was a full season, and it follows Supergirl, so maybe Legends moves over there when Valor ends. That might be.
Could be.
Well, it'd be. Oh, so right now we think though Black Lightning is going to follow the Flash right on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
That'd be a good lead-in because Flash is actually their most rated popular show. So that'll be a good.
They got an electrical theme going on.
Oh, they do. Yeah, lightning theme.
And then as You said Black Lightning ends in April. As soon as it does, iZombie comes back. So,
Ooh, awesome.
Oh wait, iZombie only does like they don't start in the fall, is it? Or no, they start in the fall and then they take a break. Is that what they do?
well, last year they started in March or April sometime.
Oh, so they do like a late start, late season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. That's another, I still gotta watch that show. I've never gotten around to that one.
It's pretty good.
So
No, it looks good. Looks good.
every season's a completely different show. I mean, tone and everything. So it's fun. It's great.
Francis says, can't wait for the DC CW Riverdale crossover event next year.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that would be.
I have to say,
the worst ever.
I decided to watch some Riverdale.
Oh my god, did you really?
It was. Yeah.
Wait, did you go back to the beginning?
I said, well, I'm going to watch a few. It's on Netflix right now, so I'll watch a few minutes because I'm curious. I don't have anything to do right in a second.
The pilot, right? You watched the pilot?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this actually got a pretty good visual, opening and stuff. I'm kind of curious now. And then I told Julie about it, and so we watched one episode, and she loves it, and I was kind of hooked, and we've watched 4 episodes now. So,
oh no, Marx, you've gone over to the dark side.
I still watch the DC superhero stuff first. But it's a little addicting because their parents are all really screwed up, and there's a good murder mystery. That's what always gets me, is a good murder mystery. So lots of mysteries going on.
You know who you need? You need an elongated man over there to solve that mystery.
Right? Oh, we could solve it.
That was the one character I missed in the Crisis episode.
Where was
Ralph. He's too new. They didn't bring him. I understood why, but if they do Identity Crisis, he would have kind of a major part if they mimic any of it.
Yeah, it's a very different Ralph Dibny Identity Crisis, but than the version they're doing. But still, it would be cool. Yeah, that's the only reason I know who Elongated Man is, because Identity Crisis. To be honest with you, because they made that character really interesting.
Yeah, and that's after Identity Crisis. That's after 20 or 30 years of growth and maturity and all. So it's same guy, just needs time and needs a wife.
The Hall House just says hello on the chat. Thank you for watching. You're at the tail end of our thing, but thank you very much. You can always go back and watch us in post. We were, again, if you didn't catch us, folks, we interviewed Christina Brucato, who plays Lily Stein on Legends earlier. We talked a little Justice League reviews, Big Crisis on Earth X. We just finished talking, and we did some other fun stuff. Licious Mate says, yeah, I did want Ralph to meet Oliver. He really wants Ralph to meet Oliver. Francis says, Marx knows what's good on TV. Yeah, it's bad enough I hear this from Francis. Now I get both the regret I'm going to have to hear about Riverdale from every week now.
You should watch one episode and see what you think.
No.
I tried it, and no. I have a friend who loved season 1 and said season 2 just fell apart completely.
Oh, really?
But then they got Sabrina as the spinoff coming. I think it's like straight to Netflix or something like that.
Oh, I thought Sabrina was going to guest star on there. Is she actually going to have her own series?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But it was like this last week they just announced it or whatever.
Huh. Interesting.
But
so it's going to be supernatural stuff?
Yeah, Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Now, obviously not like the sitcoms. It's more like a dramatic, right? Sabrina, I'm assuming, darker.
I guess. I don't know.
Was that Melissa Joan Hart who played Sabrina? Is that who that was?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
That was her. It won't be like that. Yeah, I'm sure it won't be like that. Not spinning out of.
She won't have a talking cat Salem.
No.
Too bad. That's cool. Maybe it will.
Riverdale's pretty dark-ish show.
Maybe it's a dark cat. I mean, a dark vibing cat. Like it's, I don't know. All right, I guess that's it. That's enough about Riverdale. How do we keep talking about the show on this show? Francis. All right.
It's CW related at least, so I'm sure they appreciate it.
I know. Well, maybe they should start sponsoring us. Hey, CW, sponsor us. That'd be great. Then I will talk about Riverdale. If you sponsor us, CW, I will start watching Riverdale.
You'll be like, I love Riverdale now.
So amazing. Best. Wow, what a great take on Archie. Let's make Josie and the Pussycats next.
They're on the show.
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're on there.
Are they a band?
Yeah.
Okay, this actually just got 10 times better, this show. what kind of music do they play?
I don't know what you would consider it. I'm not really sure. They do some cover songs and some other stuff.
So I gotta ask some questions now. Are these kids in high school in the show?
Yeah.
And they go to,
but they're really popular musicians, though. They've
oh yeah. So Josie and the Pussycats go to high school, but the Archie guys, they all go to the same high school, right? Riverdale High.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Josie's mom is the mayor. So.
Do they go by the name Josie and the Pussycats?
Yep.
Okay, that's great. That's so great.
Yeah. So yeah. It's such a weird concept, but there's a strong vision on the show, which is I do appreciate that. So.
Right, but the characters are nothing, because I actually do like Archie. Like I used to read him back in the day, they're nothing like the characters from the comics, right?
I never really read Archie, so I don't know that much. So I would see the covers, but I never actually read Archie.
It doesn't look like it.
I mean, it looks like very, very different dark versions of them. Yeah,
dark version.
Because Archie
there's been some reimagining Archie last decade.
Yeah, you were telling me that. I mean, Archie traditionally has always been very light and goofy humor and just
Yeah. What I like, there's a murder mystery I like, and they do a good job with it. They give you a lot of clues and red herrings and stuff, which Arrow did not do whenever they had their murder mystery, for example. And I think the whole high school murder mystery kind of thing, like I liked Veronica Mars and stuff. So I do dig that element. And then their parents are just so screwed up, like big time. Where a lot of times when you have high school drama stuff, the parents are barely in it. The parents are actually pretty important in these stories. So,
Francis says we're turning Jeff to the Riverdale side. Don't get too excited. However, let me ask you this: is Principal Weatherby in it?
Yes.
Is he called Weatherby?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, this is getting better and better, actually. Does Jughead wear that stupid crown? Well, no, he does not. Does he?
It's a modern day version of it. Yeah, it's like one of those. Hats you wear.
Is it a beanie?
It's like a beanie, but it's got the design on the side of it. Yeah,
like a crown.
Kind of like it. Yeah.
Does he eat all the time, Jughead? Does he love eating burgers?
I don't know. He does. I don't know. He's sort of like he's like real. He's writing a book about this murder that happened and stuff, and so he's a pretty interesting character in the book. Or in the TV show, I mean. I don't really know how he was in the comic book, so.
Oh, he's real. He's like the goofball, and he eats all the time, and.
Oh, really?
He's Archie's best friend, though.
Yeah, they're friends and stuff. There's all sorts of stuff going on in it.
Do Betty and Veronica fight over Archie?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sort of, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. One other thing I like what they're doing with it right now. Remember, I'm only like 4 or 5 episodes in. What I do like is that they do a good job. They introduce enough for you to understand what's going on, but they leave questions about people's relationships and their past and stuff, and they slowly reveal those as they go. And I think they do a good job doing that. So I don't know if season 2 does that or not, but I appreciate that in season 1. So
all right, wow, interesting. There you go, folks. There's your extra Riverdale talk.
But there are no superhero action fight scenes. Sorry.
Well, that would be just strange. Although I probably watch it though, actually. Then.
Although they could have one. Britt Morgan. I don't know if she's in season 1. Britt Morgan is in season 2. I've seen her in the promos. She's Livewire.
Livewire. She's in season 2 of Archie or Riverdale.
Yeah.
Was she?
She's
in some of the. She's in some of the commercials, and I've loved her since Middleman. She's just incredible.
Oh, what? She's a Middleman?
Yeah, she was Dub Dub's roommate, Lacey.
Oh, I forgot. I loved Middleman. That was an awesome show.
I don't even know what that is.
You should watch. You should find it somewhere.
Is it a superhero show?
Yeah. Well, comic book show.
Yeah, it's based on comic book. Javier.
Bardem?
No, it's got my name in it. Marx Grillich or whatever. I can't remember how you pronounce it. He was a writer on. He did some Lost, and he's done a bunch of TV shows, and still very active.
It was 1 season. Great concept. Wish it had lasted. Not surprised it didn't, because it was just too quirky and fun.
Well, it was back when ABC Family started doing stuff that was a little bit more edgy, and it just didn't. I mean, it wasn't going to work because who goes to watch that on ABC Family? It doesn't sound like something that would be on there, and I think that really killed it. I liked Middleman quite a bit.
You know what show ABC itself did? A superhero show that I loved that only lasted 1 season was No Ordinary Family.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Michael Chiklis was the lead, but it was him, his wife, and 2 kids, and something happened where they all got superpowers, some accident in a plane crash, I think, or something. And it was them trying to deal with that. It was really well done, though. Like it was a cool, fun family superhero show.
I might have seen the first episode, maybe. I don't know.
A little bit of The Incredibles thrown in there since it's Disney.
Yeah, no, it was good, man. I was bummed that they canceled that. All right, let's see. All right, that's it. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up for real this time, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you all for your comments and questions in the chat. We loved hearing everything you thought about Crisis on Earth X and all that other good stuff. Thank you to Christina Brucato for guest starring. Again, next week, Jess McCallan, Ava Sharp on Legends will be our special guest. She's actually, I think, one of the best things about Legends, so I'm excited to have her on. I really like her character, man. I think she's a good addition.
No, I like her. She's pretty good. Yeah. I've seen her in something else, too. She was really great at it.
She can go toe-to-toe with Sarah, man. She's pretty good.
Yeah.
She's cool. Almost as cool as Gary. But, yeah.
Who's Gary?
The agent who always screws up.
Oh, yeah. Oh. That's right. Good old Gary. Right. Francis says about An Ordinary Family. It was a live-action Incredibles. I miss the show. It was such a good show. Yeah, me too. And Forever. Like, I'm glad you mentioned that earlier. There's always one show each season that I love that gets canceled, and that season was Forever. It was amazing.
That was a good show. I know it should have lasted more than 2 seasons.
That's actually on CW now, and you can watch the first season. They got the rights to it somehow.
Yes. Yeah, well, they really need to pay us. We're really helping them out here.
Like CWC. No, this. All right. Thanks for watching, folks. We will be back 8 p.m. next Sunday, Eastern Time, to talk about the mid-season finales and interview Jess McCallan. And then we'll be off for a little while and all that good stuff. So hopefully you tune in then. Folks, please, if you want us to keep doing these shows, please help us out. Main thing you do is spread the word. And that's free. You don't have to do anything. Just tell your friends. Please tell one friend about our show and where they can check it out. Our YouTube or our website. I'll put those on the screen for you right now. We really would like to get more. We love having you guys in. We would love to have even more people checking us out and all that good stuff. Supergeekedup.com is the site. Patreon, that's another way you can help us out. Patreon.com/supergeekedup. Any amount, literally like $1, even $1 helps. And we would really appreciate it. Sci-Fi Paul says, I loved Forever too. I binge watched it, he says, a couple of years back. Cool. All right, that's it. Jon-Paul, why don't you tell people where they can check your shows out?
All right, so our show is The Old Titans, a couple of old guys talking about all the same geeky stuff, but from an old guy's point of view, not that old, hopefully. But,
you're not that old, come on.
Not that old. One more year to 50, though. One more. So getting there. You feel old when your kids turn 23. It happens. But you can find us on Twitter, the old #Old Titans, Facebook.com/Old Titans Podcast, or over on Spreaker.com. Just do a search for Old Titans, or for my other one that I do in the mornings by myself in the car. That's DC Comics Rush Hour. It's just me rambling about the same stuff while I'm driving to work and taking my mind off of traffic.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, and Marx?
You can find me over at marxpyle.com. There's a podcast I co-host called Genretainment, where I interview different filmmakers and writers and such. And also keep track of any other projects I'm working on. And you can also find me on Twitter at Mr. Marx.
All right, cool. That's it, folks. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. We hope you had a good time. We certainly did with you hanging out. Thank you, Jon-Paul, for guest co-hosting. Always great chatting with you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, we'll definitely love to have you back. And all right, folks. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.